a buzzword, for many people talking about the Ashes and the failures of the Ashes, but you can't get away from preparation. You talk about Harry Brook and his bouncer in New Zealand and all that stuff. Harry Brook shouldn't have been in New Zealand. I wouldn't have sent any England cricketer that I thought would potentially be used in the Ashes, or I knew would be used in trying to win the Ashes in Australia, would not have played in that New Zealand series. No way. They would have been in Australia prepping. And people argue, well, you're disrespecting a one-day, international series and everything else. Well, okay, fine, but then the ECB have to look at what their goals are, right? Is your goal to be the top-performing white ball cricket team, or is it to win in New Zealand, or is it? We keep being told that for 3.5 years, Stokes and McCullum have prepared, this group to go and win in Australia, and a few weeks before the series, you're off in New Zealand having sort of and people will look at it and go. And I heard Rob Key sort of go, well, they're in New Zealand, and so it's not too far away from Australia, right? Location perspective, yeah, absolutely, and relative to the UK, they are really close. But I'm telling you now, in terms of playing cricket, they could not be further apart. New Zealand was one of my favourite tours, right? And I'll tell you why. No one worries about it. All Kiwis are worried about is rugby. Right, so if you have a bad day, no one's really that fussed. It's a really comfortable environment to go and play cricket. The pitches are very similar to England. I'd argue as similar as anywhere else in the world. The food's great, the wine's good. The New Zealand cricket team are usually a bunch of really great blokes who sort of have a beer with you at the end of the day's play. And also, you're so far away from the UK. If you have a bad day, by the time it's got back to England, you're into your next day and carrying on. Going to Australia, the intensity and the mental resilience that you need to have to perform there is the other end of the spectrum, without a shadow of a doubt. So New Zealand for me would be, not the place at all to go and prep for an Ashes series. So that is the first thing. That you have to look at. You can't get away from it. I know that Rob Key has always had a bit of an issue with backroom staff and sort of, there are too many backroom staff. Players should be able to look after themselves and everything. How can you not have a fielding coach? I mean, how in this day and age, with the levels and the expectation on fielding, how can you not? I was out in Brisbane. I didn't see them do one fielding exercise, one fielding drill. Comes back to chasing possibility. So when you have that chance, that half chance catch, or the run out to hit one stump, if you have not practiced that and practiced it and practiced it and drilled it, you are chasing the possibility that you might hold on to it or you might hit the stump. Whereas if you have practiced it and done your hours on the training ground with a coach who's putting drills together, and you hit the stump or you take the catch, you've confirmed the probability of doing that because you've done the work. This is the England cricket team wanting to go to Australia and win in Australia, where everyone knows it's so difficult. And they don't have the support staff behind them. Again, I'm not making excuses for the players. The players are the guys that have to go out there and perform. I remember, the person who turned my career around literally was a guy called Bruce French, a wicket-keeping coach. And he and I became so tight on my prep, on my training. Andy Flower came to me once. We had a tour of South Africa. And I can't remember, we were one in the world, South Africa were two in the world, or vice versa. But we were touring South Africa, big tour. And Andy phoned me up and he said, Matt, just to let you know, ECB budgets, there was a lot of pressure about backroom staff and the amount of backroom staff. He said, Frenchie's not going to come on the trip. I said, Andy, thank you very much for letting me know. Let me know all the hotels, logistics and everything, because I will pay for him myself to be there. Because when I drop Jacques Kallis on the first morning of a test match and he goes on and scores 250, there's only one person copping it, right? And it's not even about that. It's about letting the team down. I knew what I needed for my preparation. Jimmy Anderson knew what he needed. David Saker played a huge role within that bowling unit, that bowling group that helped us win in Australia in 2010-11. as a player, you need to know that, and you need that support. You show me a Premier League football club or an England, would the England football team go to a World Cup with no goalkeeping coach?
No.
I mean, if they did, you would be like, what? Are you for real? Like, and we end up in penalties again. And the keeper's got no keeper. It just would never happen.
Yeah.
So why is it okay for it to happen with the England cricket team? For me, it doesn't make sense.
Matt, it's been absolutely fascinating having you on. It's been quite cathartic as well. I hope it has for you. Thank you for chatting to us.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Top man. Matt Pryor, former England wicketkeeper. Really, really interesting. And of course, there's loads more reaction and analysis from our team in Australia on the TMS podcast. This is 5 Live Sport. Welcome to the Thursday Night Club, on which we'll be discussing all of the big Premier League talking points from the games on Wednesday night, but our main focus is the Emirates. Arsenal versus Liverpool tonight in the Premier League. Huge game, Ali Bruce Ball. How does it feel there?
Yeah, it's building, Steve. As I said earlier on, the weather is horrendous. It's been pouring with rain for the last couple of hours. It is freezing cold. There's a chilly breeze in the air, but no one is bothered about that. And I think every single Arsenal fan knows exactly what's at stake. I got here actually an hour before we could even get in, Steve. So I came out of the tube station at Holloway Road and found myself somewhere to sit down warm and have a cup of tea. And a regular Arsenal fan came in, so regular obviously that the fella had already got his coffee ready as he saw him approaching. And he said to him, "What do you reckon tonight?" And the Arsenal fan said, "If we win this, we win the league." Now, I'm not sure every single Arsenal fan would agree with that, but I just think this last couple of weeks has been crucial, for Arsenal, particularly off the back of that defeat against Aston Villa, only a second defeat of the season. But look at the games since Christmas. In less than 2 weeks, everyone after tonight will have played 4 games in that tight little space. If Arsenal win this tonight, they will have won 4 out of 4. Villa, who were beaten by Arsenal, have dropped 5 points in that run, and Manchester City have dropped 6 points. So when we come to the end of the season and we see how it all pans out, this feels like it's been a really, really crucial part of the season. So there is that real, excited feel of a big game in here tonight, unsurprisingly.
You will hear the sound of the Emirates tonight almost all evening, I suspect. So Ali's going to keep us right up to date. We're on here till 10 o'clock when Casa Alon takes over. On the Thursday Night Club, we've got Michael Brown, we've got Stephen Warnock, and we've got Andros Townsend. Evening all.
Evening.
All right.
Evening, Steve. How are you?
All good. Yeah, very good. Andros, all good. Oh, we're off to a bad start because we can't actually hear Andros's voice. Go again.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
There we go. We've got you. Well, just for that, you're getting the most difficult question straight away based on what Ali was saying. At what point, even this early in the season, will Arsenal be far enough clear that they go from likely champions to really probable champions? Like, do you think if they win tonight, we're approaching that already or not?
Still not yet, but I think if they win tonight, they take a huge step in that direction. To go 8 points clear of Man City at the turn of the year would be tough to claw back. But as we've seen in the past, Man City can go on 10, 11, 12 game winning runs. They already went on, I think it was a 7-game winning streak just before Christmas to sort of claw the gap back. And then they've struggled a little bit, but you can never write Man City out. But to go 8 points clear at this stage of the season would be crucial for Arsenal.
You know what? You're looking at me mischievously.
You're looking at me mischievously.
No, it's nice to see you, mate. Thanks for having us again. No, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's all about, can Arsenal get over the line at the start of the season? Everyone's saying if Arteta doesn't do it, he's got to go. The pressure's there, whether it's a slow start, whether it's not, as he took the team as far as he can. If City had been right next to them or just a point above them, you did feel that they could have that little bit of a wobble and not deliver. Now with this type of points gap, they should be in the stride. They shouldn't be feeling any sort of pressure. It will get that when it gets closer. But for Man City, just 1 week, hasn't it, where it's all changed for them, was right on. They were in their stride, they were in their rhythm, playing really well. Go to Sunderland, New Year's Day, played well enough, not fantastic, missed chances, and then again from there on, getting those draws, not delivering. And the 2 centre-backs is a real concern. If that's going to be the case, Arsenal win tonight, you could only see it going one way from that.
I think the big thing is, from my point of view, is just if City are to strengthen in the transfer window, it's to what extent they strengthen and who they get through the door. That can change things, and that can almost put a little bit of pressure into the Arsenal changing room. I'm with Brownie, though. I think if they win tonight, I don't think it's done tonight. I think if you can keep that 8-point lead going till the end of January, I think then you're in contention. But we've still got to look at and see what City do in the transfer window.
They've got to go to the Etihad as well.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's all of a sudden as well. That can change things. I think they've got Forest next, Arsenal away. So that's a decent game. Someone who's fighting for everything. So it's still on, you know, because they will feel it's... If they give any sort of inkling of where it can happen, of all teams who can do it with Pep, they could certainly deliver, couldn't they, this Man City team?
So this is the thing, Brownie. I think because Man City have done it before, even if Arsenal win tonight and go 8 points clear, it's always going to be in their back of the minds mentally, this isn't enough. We know City can claw us back.
So we're going to have
it's an...
Oh, go on. Sorry, Andros. I thought you'd finished then, but it was just your line dropped out.
Okay. Yeah, I think just mentally it's going to be, even if Arsenal win tonight, it will be difficult to still keep up Man City.
I understand. Yeah, I understand that point. I just think the depth that Arsenal have got now compared to recent years. I think when you look at the bench, you've got Eze on the bench, you've got Jesus on the bench, and you're looking at it thinking Martinelli. You go, they've got players who can change a game, and that's the big difference. But also in centre back positions, they lost the centre backs. They had a little bit of a wobble, but not too bad. I just think they're built this year to be more resilient and more strong. I still think it's in Arsenal's hands. I still think they'll win the league from this position. But I agree with it.
Did you think that a week ago? Do you know, like when you see that's how mad it was, wasn't it? And we've seen that before. City were cut adrift. It looked like it was heading towards Arsenal. Then there was that recovery. Can it happen again so quickly? You know, 1 week.
The only thing with City is that, and this is obviously why they've brought in Semenyo, is they've been so heavily reliant on Haaland. And if Haaland doesn't fire for a few games, which was it, 3 games he didn't score for, suddenly there's not many other people stepping up. And that's the only thing with Manchester City at the moment is that where are the other goals coming from?
Obviously, we're going to do all of this in a lot more depth because we're on till 10 o'clock, so there's lots to get through. But just on Liverpool, what makes tonight significant for them? Is it the fact that, you know, I was talking to Ali about this at the top of the show. Liverpool know they're a long way behind Arsenal. That's clear. You just need to look at the league table. But if you see it really clear firsthand, fans that are there, people are listening, people are watching, that's slightly different, isn't it? It will really make it hit home if things go badly tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk around the city and fans saying that if they lose tonight and they lose heavily, they want the manager gone. I just find it incredible, and I'm like, surely you've got to let this squad evolve. They've got injuries at the moment. They've got to find a way of playing. I still think they need to sign players, and that sounds incredible after the money they spent in the summer, but a lot of that was recouped. When you actually look at the net spend, it was around about 230 million rather than the 430. So the one thing that Liverpool are missing in this squad, that City have, that Arsenal have, is players who can beat people. They have wingers who can take people on. Liverpool simply don't have that at the moment in the team. Frimpong does it at times, but he's not a natural winger. But then Gakpo on the other side, quite predictable in the way that he plays. Wirtz doesn't really do it as well. He's a different type of player. So from Liverpool's point of view, they've got to change a lot. And the worrying thing from when I keep on listening to his interviews is he keeps on saying, we keep on making the same mistakes and we know what we're doing wrong. And I'm thinking, well, how come you can't fix it then? If you know it's there, why can't you?
Are you surprised how it's changed so quickly? Do you know how it's changed so quickly?
Yeah.
You know, because last season we were looking to see what style he was going to bring. He had the in-game change. It went very, very well, didn't it, at times early on, and then they did some fantastic performances where you didn't expect it. But what is it? Do you know, like why has it gone so bad? The manager is getting pointed at, hasn't he? But what can he do?
Well, if you look at Salah's form, that's dropped. I think when you've got goal scorer, we talk about Haaland there, if you lose goals at critical times, then that's a key element. But I think we're underestimating how big a player Trent was for them. You're talking about a player who could change a game, who could create that box midfield and over. They could smother teams in that centre of the pitch, and they don't seem to be able to do that now.
There's lots of individual players involved in this game who we're going to talk about in a lot more detail. Gyökeres, Rice, Wirtz, amongst those on the list. The big clock at the Emirates says 10-2, so 10 minutes to kick off in Arsenal versus Liverpool on the Thursday Night Club. We'll also talk about Manchester City, the latest at Manchester United. Chelsea, it's Liam Rosenior's first day in charge. Thomas Frank's growing frustrations at Tottenham, plus a bit of Bournemouth, Newcastle, Brentford and Fulham. Although events at the Emirates will dictate. If that is like an all-amazing 90 minutes, I feel like it's going to dominate the whole of the conversation. So lots more on all of that to come on the Thursday Night Club. We just want to talk about now about the sad news that we learned this morning that the former Leeds United and Wales midfielder Terry Yorath has died at the age of 75 following a short illness. He won the 1974 First Division title with Leeds. He was a big part of the side that also finished as runners-up in the FA Cup, the Cup Winners' Cup. He was a runner-up with them in the European Cup. He became the first Welshman to play in the European Cup final. As a manager, he took Wales to the brink of qualification for the 1994 World Cup, and we're going to learn more about him as a manager shortly. As a player, he also represented Coventry, Tottenham, Bradford, briefly Swansea City as well, but it is at Ellen Road where most of his great days occurred. And the current Leeds manager, Daniel Farke, has been speaking about Terry Yorath today.
Very sad news, and of course at this moment all our thoughts and prayers are with his loves and his family. So very sad news for us, because he was also a proper club legend, and it's always sad to hear this. It's part of life, and one thing is for sure, he will never be forgotten, and always a part of our Leeds United family, and also his legacy will live forever a little bit. So we spoke about our Welsh warriors here, especially with Joe Roden and Eastern Purdue and all the others, and he was definitely a role model as a Welsh warrior, and it has done so well for us as a club, and yes, he will also live always further on in our hearts, and will always be connected and always be a proper member of our Leeds United family.
Yeah, really good words found there by the Leeds manager Daniel Farke. Let's speak to BBC Wales football reporter Chris Wathen. Chris, it was interesting there when he was talking about some of Leeds' current Welsh players and this idea of Welsh warriors. I imagine when any Welshman goes to Leeds United, people will think about, that's Terry Yorath's team.
Yeah, especially when you use the term Welsh warrior. I think Yorath was probably the archetypal warrior as a player, a hard man, which was a passionate man. You saw that on the pitch, and yet that was quite in contrast to how he was as a person. Very quiet, almost very humble. Plenty of humour there as well, but I always found him quite sensitive, and obviously he went through a lot during his life with the loss of his son Daniel. He was a assistant manager at the time of the Bradford fire, things that scarred him. But events on the field where he missed a penalty when Wales were in the quarter-final of the 1976 European Championship, basically because the original penalty taker had been subbed and no one else wanted to. I don't think he ever took a penalty again after he missed it. And of course, we all remember when he was manager of Wales and Paul Bowden's penalty miss on that night against Romania that denied Wales a place in the 94 World Cup. And yet, despite all that almost sadness and disappointment, that's not how people remember Terry Yorath. And it was really interesting to hear the current Wales manager, Craig Bellamy, put out a statement today saying that he epitomised everything it meant to play for Wales. And that campaign, and Craig's about the same age as me, so I can really hear where Bellamy's coming from here. So that's the first time he experienced genuine belief that Wales could qualify for a major tournament. Terry Yorath was at the heart of that, the way he had that side playing. And that's how so many people will remember him in Wales.
So how good were that team then that he was leading? Because he obviously is playing an incredibly central role to that.
They were fantastic, because Wales football had gone through so many dark times that this was a side full of individual talent, but Yorath was the personality that held it all together, that made them a team. And you speak to any member of that side, and I've been privileged enough to do that over the years, and they will continuously reference to Terry Yorath. He could be hard, he could give instructions, he could make sure that no one stepped out of line, but at the same time, he'd have a game of golf with them as well. He'd get the best out of them. He'd have people enjoying it. And I've spoken to Dean Saunders about this in the past, that passionate Welshman, even if there's a bit of a cliche, he'd have Tom Jones blaring on the team coach driving to the old National Stadium at a time where football had put rugby in the shadow in this country, and that was Terry's team. And like I said, it is with great sadness that we have lost him, but you can't help but smile back at some of those memories, even though if you spoke to Terry, he would say his career was almost defined by missing out. Daniel Farke, you mentioned, Steve, the 1975, the first Welshman to play in a European Cup final. Of course, Leeds losing that game. Terry keeps on being reminded, he put a terrible tackle on Bjorn Anderson, that early Horner is called the most brutal foul he'd ever seen. And I remember speaking to him about that, and there is that tinge of regret that he knew all about Bjorn Anderson's career. He went on to be a youth head of youth at Bayern Munich and produced a lot of the side that won the 2014 World Cup. Terry knew that because he was obviously affected by it. And that sensitivity, that sense of deep thinking he had about him, beyond the hard man on the pitch, beyond the old school football manager. He was clearly a deep thinker, and that was that side of personality that perhaps a lot of people didn't see, that quietness about him as well.
Chris, thank you very much indeed. That's Chris Watham from BBC Wales, and obviously our thoughts are with everybody, friends and family of Terry Yorath. Awful news that we heard earlier today, and celebrating the life of Terry Yorath there with Chris and with the Leeds manager Daniel Farke. You're listening to Thursday night's 5 Live Sport. There's a really big game in the Premier League this evening. Arsenal versus Liverpool. The teams are out. We'll be there with the Thursday Night Club on 5 Live after the news with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Good evening. Storm Goretti has hit the UK, bringing winds of up to 90 miles an hour to Cornwall in the southwest of England. It's expected to dump up to 30 centimetres of snow in the West Midlands and Wales as well. Izzy
starting lineups, and we are moments away from kick-off here on what is a very wet, wintry night in North London. I think there's no question whatsoever that the expectation will be on Arsenal to get the job done tonight. I mean, they've got the quality out there, they really do. And I think when you've got this kind of quality that Arsenal do, when you're in this kind of form, even though that Liverpool are actually coming into this on a 9-game unbeaten run, which would be something I think that Arne Slot will at least try and hold on to and trying to provide a little bit of traction in many ways. But there's no question that Arsenal, as the informed side coming into this, will be seeking to go 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. They won 15 of their 20 games, have Arsenal. Only lost twice this season. That was against Aston Villa, and then, of course, away at Anfield on the last day of August, when a Dominic Szoboszlai free kick proved to be sufficient to separate the two sides. So plenty of injuries then for Liverpool to contend with, but Arne Slot was hoping, I think, that the compact nature of that midfield three in Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and McAllister, however it lines up, will be possibly enough to thwart this Arsenal side. Mikel Arteta and Arne Slot shake hands prior to kick-off, and it will be very interesting, I think, to see how the first 5 or 10 minutes unfold here, because there's a real suggestion that this Arsenal side will try and take Liverpool to the sword tonight. I think when you look at the players Liverpool have got out, look at the strength of this Arsenal side. The rain is really coming down in North London. There's Storm Goretti, which is overhead in the UK at the moment, and it was a real cold snap in the UK recently. A little bit milder tonight, but still pretty chilly, and lots clearly expected of this Arsenal side to deliver tonight in front of what is a vociferous home crowd. So we are moments away from kick-off in North London. It is Arsenal against Liverpool. It is the champions who travel to the capital. The champions possibly travelling to the champions-elect. That is what the table would certainly point towards And we are indeed up and underway at the Emirates, and Konate launches it left-hand side looking for Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo couldn't get a touch on the ball, so Bosley could, and Arsenal just pinged the ball up and over halfway, and Konate got a touch on it. Alexis McAllister tried to play it inside. Gravenberch does collect, and Ryan Gravenberch has it deep inside his own half, and he finds Conor Bradley, and Conor Bradley considered going back to Alisson Becker, doesn't indeed go back to his Brazilian goalkeeper, and Alisson Becker wheels it out left-hand side and finds Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk, left-footed, launches it long. Could be an opportunity now for Arsenal to clear their lines, not so. And there is going to be a free kick actually for Arsenal, a yard in for the touchline on the right-hand side, which they will now take. And it will be Timber who has the ball. He's 5 yards in front of Mikel Arteta. We know Mikel Arteta likes to just patrol the very confines, shall we say, of his technical area. Arsenal have the ball at the back now, and it is gathered on the left-hand side now by Saliba. Here come Arsenal building out from the back, and it's interesting actually to see this Liverpool lineup, because it looks as though Cody Gakpo is actually playing on the left-hand side, and it's almost as though Florian Wirtz and Dominic Szoboszlai are playing as two false nines. We'll let you know how that one pans out. Certainly Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister are sitting as more of a base, and it looks as though Cody Gakpo's left-hand side, Frimpong's right-hand side, Szoboszlai and Florian Wirtz are the two false nines almost, because at the moment Dominic Szoboszlai is the furthest forward of all the Liverpool players, and Arsenal are coming forward from the back, and it is Martin Ødegaard who does have the ball, and Martin Ødegaard just feeds it forward towards Gabriel, and Gabriel down the line to Trossard. And is that going to be a free kick for Arsenal? Indeed it is on the left-hand side. Conor Bradley is penalised. So free kick's taken quickly, and Martin Ødegaard does gather. Martin Ødegaard goes left-hand side for Declan Rice. Declan Rice back in field now towards Gabriel. He's got Saliba in support. Saliba right-hand side. And Saliba now just to the right of centre, feeds it infield. And Liverpool tried to get a touch on it. It was Virgil van Dijk who was coming in. So the ball was actually out for a Liverpool throw on the left-hand side, which Milos Kerkez, the Hungarian, is going to take. Milos Kerkez will take the throw then on the left-hand side, and Milos Kerkez just goes back in field for Virgil van Dijk. And Virgil van Dijk feeds it infield towards Alisson Becker. Alisson Becker out right-hand side to Konate. Konate in turn finds Alisson Becker once again. Here is Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk back to Alisson Becker. And here come Liverpool down the right-hand side. Jeremy Frimpong hasn't really had a touch on the ball as yet, but he's got a touch now, does Frimpong. The ball is just out of play on the left-hand side. And it's going to be a throw-in now for Arsenal, as the rain really does lash down. I mean, there were one or two little conversations about whether there was going to be a pitch inspection, but the rain really is coming down now. Going to be okay for the moment though, and Arsenal do have a throw-in on the left-hand side. It's a throw-in right by the corner flag, which Nkapie will take. So Nkapie now will take the throw-in on that left-hand side. Florian Wirtz goes back in field towards Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk goes all the way back to Alisson Becker. Alisson Becker scoops it up towards Cody Gakpo, who was offside, and Jurrien Timber goes back to his goalkeeper David Raya. 4 minutes on the clock, not too much has happened if truth be told, as the rain continues to lash down in North London. Arne Slot and Mikel Arteta both right on the edge of their technical areas, barking instructions. And Arsenal now will come out from the back. They're just outside the centre circle. It is now a little sandwich right-hand side looking for Jurrien Timber. Jurrien Timber right-hand side, but the ball goes beyond Jurrien Timber. And out of play for a throw-in for Liverpool in the left-back slot, which Milos Kerkez will take. Milos Kerkez does gather possession and just tries to wipe a little bit of the moisture off the ball with his shirt. I'm sure that's going to be too successful because the rain is absolutely hammering it down inside the Emirates. Milos Kerkez with a long throw. Grambert wins the header, and Florian Wirtz with the touch to Szoboszlai. And it's going to come now to Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley does get there first on the right-hand side. Conor Bradley goes down the line, didn't come off Trossard, it did. So it will be a throw-in for Liverpool on the right-hand side. Throw-in then for Liverpool on the right flank. And it is Konate who will pick up the pieces just outside his own penalty area on the right-hand side. He goes back to Alisson Becker. Alisson Becker skids it out. It wasn't particularly effective. Could be an opportunity now for Arsenal, but Alisson Becker will gather once more. Took a chance there, did Alisson Becker, the Brazilian. Just trying to fizz the ball out. Quite come off though. Liverpool will build from the back once more. Ryan Gravenberch goes right-hand side to Konate. All this being played deep inside the Liverpool half. And it is now Ryan Gravenberch to collect, and Florian Wirtz round the corner. And Conor Bradley then tries to find Florian Wirtz again and does. Alexis McAllister knows everything's left-hand side. Alexis McAllister sweeps it out looking for Kerkez. Kerkez keeps it alive too. Kerkez pokes it forwards, and it will be a Liverpool throw on the left-hand side. And it is gathered now by Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk to Dominic Szoboszlai. Dominic Szoboszlai to Alexis McAllister. Neatly done now for Milos Kerkez. Milos Kerkez has got one or two options inside, one of which is Florian Wirtz, but he's just put the ball beyond Florian Wirtz. And the ball is now out of play for a throw-in for Arsenal on the right-hand side. So it is Timber who will take the throw-in on the right flank. Timber to take the throw for Arsenal. He goes back infield now looking for Saliba, and Declan Rice is tucked in just between the two centre-backs, and Declan Rice now will bring the ball away. Declan Rice goes right-hand side now looking for Saliba, and Saliba just approaching the halfway line, rolls his studs over the ball and feeds it to Declan Rice once more. Declan Rice to Saliba right on the halfway line for Arsenal. Declan Rice looks to go long, but it's too long, and Alisson Becker will gather. Liverpool will build the ball out from the back. Alisson Becker taking his time over the rollout, underarm rollout to Konate right hand side. Back to Alisson Becker around about the penalty spot for Liverpool, and Alisson goes to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk at walking pace on the left hand side. Milos Kerkez not sure he wanted it there. Milos Kerkez, and Saka closes him down, and it will be a throw-in for Liverpool on the left hand side in their left back slot, which Kerkez will take. Milos Kerkez is just slowing the pace of things down now on the left-hand side. 8 minutes played, Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0 as a score. Alexis McAllister got a touch on it, not much more. Might ball now for Gyökeres. Konate is there. Chance for Conor Bradley to nudge it away. Comes back to Gyökeres, and Gravenberch gets a touch on it, and Arsenal just retrieve possession. It is Gabriel. Gabriel does gather to the left of centre, and Gabriel has the ball now for Arsenal once more. And here is Ødegaard, and Ødegaard just tried to slip infield. Ødegaard, and he feeds it to the right, to the left hand side I should say, and Gabriel. Here comes Leandro Trossard. Leandro Trossard shifting this way and that. Leandro Trossard feeding it infield now towards Zubimendi. Zubimendi to Ødegaard. Ødegaard scoops it right hand side for Saka. Here is Saka with the step overs. Saka now eventually with the ball into the penalty area. We'll come to the edge of the area now, Declan Rice. Now it's gathered by Gabriel. And Gabriel goes left-hand side for Arsenal. And Arsenal again will come. And here is Gabriel. Saliba's ball forward's a good one. Saliba to Timber, but Alisson was there. And Alisson now has the ball for Liverpool. It's just a moment there where it looked as though there might be an opportunity for Arsenal and Timber inside the area. And Liverpool have given it away again in a good position. And here's Zubimendi into the penalty area. It's going to drop now for Trossard. Comes off Konate. Alexis McAllister just heads it away. Liverpool can't make it stick up front, and Cody Gakpo's clearance isn't a good one. And it is now Jeremy Frimpong who tried to pick up the pieces from Alexis McAllister, couldn't quite do so. And it is now Arsenal who are absolutely dominating proceedings. Arsenal have the ball at the back, and it is gathered by Saliba. Saliba feeds it left-hand side to Gabriel. Gabriel now to Zubimendi. Zubimendi to Ødegaard, and Ødegaard right on the line, on the halfway line for Arsenal. He feeds it left flank now, and it is gathered once again by Arsenal and Ødegaard. Ødegaard zips it right hand side for Saka, and Saka feeds it infield to Ødegaard, and Ødegaard very deep now for Arsenal, looking to approach the edge of the penalty area, and Ødegaard has the ball now and tries to approach the edge of the penalty area, does Martin Ødegaard, and zips it right hand side and finds Saka. Saka now goes on the outside of Kerkez. It comes off Kerkez, and it will be an Arsenal corner. So Saka's going to take the corner kick for Arsenal. It's a corner kick on the right hand side. It's the first corner kick of the game. Arsenal have scored 14 goals from set pieces this season. They are first in the Premier League by that metric. Conceded 13, 19th in the Premier League by that metric. So Saka right hand side. They take this one left footed into a good area. Alisson Becker got gloves on it, not too much more, but manages to nudge it away. And now Florian Wirtz has put inside a free kick outside the penalty area. Trossard, the man penalised. I'll tell you what, Trossard's going to get a yellow card here as well, because Florian Wirtz was scampering away. And Trossard gets a yellow card. So, Leandro Trossard is yellow carded. 12 minutes played, Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. No chances in the game as yet, really. As Ryan Gravenberch approaches the halfway line, he finds Milos Kerkez left flank. Kerkez back to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk to Konate. Konate just rolls the ball back to Alisson Becker. And then Virgil van Dijk to Milos Kerkez on the left-hand side. And Milos Kerkez will go back in field now to Alisson. And Alisson inside his own penalty area. Well, he wedges it up looking for Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo tries to find Florian Wirtz. Couldn't quite do so. And Frimpong was looking to try to pick up the loose pieces. Alex McAllister lost his footing momentarily. Here is an opportunity there for Gakpo. And then Dominic Szoboszlai will find Jeremy Frimpong right-hand side. Frimpong's on the edge of the penalty area. It is Frimpong now for Liverpool. Frimpong with the cross in. It's not a good one. It's stabbed away, and it's out of play for a throw-in for Liverpool on the right-hand side. First time really in the game Liverpool have got any kind of momentum in those kind of positions. Virgil van Dijk has the ball inside the centre circle, and he goes right-hand side and finds Ryan Gravenberch. Ryan Gravenberch to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk in towards Florian Wirtz, just taken off the toe of Florian Wirtz, and Timber now will collect for Arsenal. And now Zubimendi goes back in field towards Saliba. Saliba to Declan Rice, just outside the centre circle. Declan Rice and Zubimendi, those two attached by string, it feels sometimes, in the centre of the pitch for Arsenal. Here is Saliba. Saliba approaching the edge of the Liverpool penalty area, but finds Timber. Timber to Saka. Saka's got a yard of space just in from the right-hand touchline. Lovely touch by Trossard, or certainly a lovely idea. And the touch didn't quite come off. Liverpool will bring the ball away through Conor Bradley, but Conor Bradley dwelt in possession, and Trossard does gather. So Declan Rice feeds it to Trossard once again. And it is now Saliba who gathers. Saliba goes back in field towards Zubimendi. And Zubimendi inside the centre circle goes right-hand side and finds Saliba once more. Saliba now to Martin Ødegaard. And Martin Ødegaard goes back in field towards Zubimendi. All of this being played inside the Arsenal half. Zubimendi goes right-hand side now and finds Saliba. Saliba did look at the options in front of him. Instead he goes 15 yards to his left-hand side and finds Declan Rice. And Arsenal coming forwards now with Martin Ødegaard 25 yards from goal. Ødegaard wants it back. Liverpool though will come away with the ball, and it's neatly done actually by Cody Gakpo, but Arsenal win it back through Declan Rice. And Declan Rice has it to the right of centre, and Timber now will gather. And Timber does collect now for Arsenal. And Timber in towards Ødegaard, and now Saka. Saka against Milos Kerkez, and Saka twisting and turning, and Saka going on his left foot, his right foot, and trying to find a yard of space, and Timber then finds Ødegaard, and Martin Ødegaard back to Saliba. And it is now Martin Ødegaard once more, and he finds Gabriel, the number 6 for Arsenal, goes to Declan Rice. Declan Rice approaching the edge of the area on the left-hand side. He's got Nkapie and Trossard in support. Trossard does gather. Now it's Gabriel. And Gabriel feeds it to Ødegaard. Ødegaard banks central. What can he conjure? What can he create, Martin Ødegaard? Finds Declan Rice. Everyone behind the ball now for Liverpool. A sense of the danger building. Here is Timber with the ball across, and Virgil van Dijk will just about manage to stab it away. But really is a sense here that Liverpool just can't get out. And Saka now just skins Kerkez so easily, and it is Bukayo Saka on the right-hand side. Saka against Alexis McAllister. Too easy from Saka. There's the cutback, and Florian Wirtz will try and bring the ball away. And Florian Wirtz feeds it to Milos Kerkez. There's nothing to hit for Liverpool. It's so difficult. It's attack versus defence. Can't get out. Nothing to hit. No striker on the pitch, Liverpool. Martin Ødegaard forward towards Saka, and Saka's inside the area again, and Saka is offside, and Liverpool take that welcome respite. Well, really good from Saka initially to try to create the opportunity. Bukayo Saka just went round the outside. Cutback was a good one. And it is now Liverpool who do have possession at the back through Ryan Gravenberch. Now Konate gathers. Konate into Alexis McAllister. That's neatly done by Liverpool. All of a sudden Szoboszlai's got options left and right. It's Dominic Szoboszlai left hand side. He finds Milos Kerkez. Milos Kerkez outside the area. Milos Kerkez trying to find Frimpong, couldn't quite do so. And Wirtz was there, and it goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. And that's a wasted opportunity for Liverpool. Because there's no question that Dominic Szoboszlai did have a little pocket of space there to conjure something, he felt. He had options left and right, chose Milos Kerkez. Kerkez couldn't quite pick out a man. And Saka's effort, well, it's worth having a go. I think in these kind of conditions, Saka's hit, smothered by Alisson Becker, but there's so much moisture on the surface. If he can get strikes to just skid in front of the goalkeeper, going to be in a good place, I think. Saka left-footed. With a very good save indeed. Virgil van Dijk decides to go long, and he tried to find Cody Gakpo but couldn't. And it's a real problem this for Liverpool, because absolutely nobody to hit. No physicality up front really. Cody Gakpo's playing left hand side, and then it is a fluid. I mean, it's almost like a 4-6-0. And then whoever can gets forward into the striking position. Here is Zubimendi, who has the ball now for Arsenal. Zubimendi to Declan Rice. Declan Rice goes to Saliba. Saliba wedges it left-hand side now, looking for Martin Zubimendi. Zubimendi to Nkapie. Nkapie left-hand side now for Arsenal. Nkapie goes back in field, and now it's gathered by Declan Rice. Declan Rice to the left-hand side again. And here is Declan Rice once more. Declan Rice has his studs over the ball. And it is Saliba who feeds it back in field now towards Gabriel. Well, it's a very defensive lineup really, isn't it, from Arne Slot? But I think in fairness to him, I mean, I'm not really sure there's too much he could have done about it, given the injuries he's got. Timber then with the cross. Timber's cross to the back post. Conor Bradley is there. And Conor Bradley got an important touch on it. Comes as far as Nkapie. Left-hand side to Trossard. Leandro Trossard on the left-hand side with the ball into the penalty area. Cody Gakpo's touch only as far as Timber. Timber does gather, and now Timber finds Saliba. Saliba thought about the cross into the penalty area. Saliba has the ball just outside the area and finds Saka. It is Saka to Ødegaard. Martin Ødegaard shifts it left-hand side now. Martin Zubimendi does collect. Zubimendi left-hand side to Nkapie. Rolls it now to Martin Ødegaard. Martin Ødegaard with the cross into the penalty area. Gakpo will try and nod it away, but I Gakpo nods it away straight back to Arsenal, and really you sense a big chances coming here for Arsenal because they're completely dominating possession. Florian Wirtz collects, and Dominic Szoboszlai to Ryan Gravenberch, and Ryan Gravenberch tries to find Florian Wirtz. Touch around the corner now for Jeremy Frimpong, and Frimpong now to Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley to Konate. Konate tries to find Frimpong, and Frimpong goes down, wants a free kick. Referee says no. And now Arsenal have the ball on the left-hand side, and Conor Bradley is just going to touch that one out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Liverpool on the right-hand side. And so it is going to be a throw-in for Liverpool, which Conor Bradley will take in. Alexis McAllister just turns around the corner, and now it is out of play on that left flank. Declan Rice does gather. Declan Rice infield now towards Saliba. 21 minutes played at the Emirates. 0-0 the score. Arsenal have had all the ball. As yet, you would say, really been able to conjure a big chance. That one effort which Alisson Becker comfortably gathered from Saka's hit. And now Gabriel gathers for Arsenal. Gabriel finds Saliba. Saliba to Martin Odegaard, and Martin Odegaard approaching the edge of the centre circle, and Odegaard just rolls it left hand side now, and it is now Gabriel to Nkapia back to Gabriel. 0-0 the score. Declan Rice has it midway in the Liverpool half, and now Yuri and Timber will just regather, check back on his left hand side, then his right hand side, finds Saliba. Everyone's so deep now for Liverpool. Arsenal have all the ball, and it is Arsenal have the ball on the left hand side, collected now by a Trossard, and a Trossard goes on the outside of Conor Bradley so easily. Trossard's inside the air. Alexis McAllister is back there to help out, and Ryan Gravenberch is going to try and bring the ball away, and it is going to be a throw in for Arsenal. I think Gravenberch's just making the point that he had absolutely nothing on there, and so he could only really stab it out of play. Arsenal continue to ask the questions without really conjuring a big goal-scoring opportunity. It is now Saliba who finds Zubimendi in towards Saka to Odegaard, and Odegaard is robbed of possession by Florian Wirtz, and Florian Wirtz then to Alexis McAllister, uses body strength well. Alexis McAllister goes left hand side and finds Dominic Szoboszlai. Dominic Szoboszlai sweeps it infield now to Gravenberch. Gravenberch has Bradley and Frimpong as the two options on the right hand side, and it is now gathered by Konate, and Konate to Virgil van Dijk. 23 minutes played in the capital, and it is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. And Virgil van Dijk, the captain, collects. Dominic Szoboszlai has the ball at his feet. Szoboszlai finds Alexis McAllister. He turns it round the corner to Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz encouraging Conor Bradley forwards. Conor Bradley now to Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong to Wirtz. Now could be an opportunity for Ryan Gravenberch approaching the edge of the penalty area. His effort came through a sea of bodies, and eventually Trossard is there to smash it away. Marginally better really from Liverpool in terms of ball retention in the Arsenal half. Virgil van Dijk does indeed have it. Virgil van Dijk to Konate. Alexis McAllister now gathers. Alexis McAllister just outside the centre circle. Rolls it 3 yards to his right hand side and finds Konate. And then it is Florian Wirtz who has the touch. Alexis McAllister once again. And Virgil van Dijk took a chance there, and Florian Wirtz picks up the pieces to Szoboszlai. And Szoboszlai now to Gravenberch, and Gravenberch wins the physical battle against Trossard. And Ryan Gravenberch just feeds in field, and now Szoboszlai has it. And Dominic Szoboszlai hurdles a challenge. He's got Frimpong with him on the right hand side. Jeremy Frimpong now a chance to stretch his legs maybe. Goes back inside instead to Szoboszlai. Now Konate finds Virgil van Dijk, and Virgil van Dijk slips it left hand side for Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo now to Milos Kerkez, and Milos Kerkez to Virgil van Dijk. And Virgil van Dijk to Konate. And Konate in towards Dominic Szoboszlai. And now it is Alexis McAllister who has the ball for Liverpool to Florian Wirtz. And Florian Wirtz tries to stab it forward. He was looking for the run of Conor Bradley. It's Grambert that will collect now to Szoboszlai. Now Florian Wirtz once more. Florian Wirtz to Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley back to Wirtz. Wirtz at walking pace for Liverpool to Grambert. And Grambert now to Virgil van Dijk. And he finds Milos Kerkez. Kerkez in towards Szoboszlai. Gathered now by Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk inside the centre circle, goes right-hand side and finds Konate. And Konate now to Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz right-hand side to Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley to Alexis McAllister. And Alexis McAllister to Virgil van Dijk. And Virgil van Dijk to Milos Kerkez. And it goes back to Konate. Alexis McAllister around the corner now for Ibrahima Konate. Neatly done by Conor Bradley, and now collected by Florian Wirtz. Infield cleverly to Conor Bradley. And Conor Bradley skips past 1 and 2. And he's got the run and the option of Frimpong, who was there. And it could be a chance now for Alexis McAllister with the effort off the crossbar. It's going to come back now for Cody Gakpo inside the area. And Liverpool has struck the crossbar. Conor Bradley now trying to find a way through for Liverpool. He won't do so there, though, and Declan Rice will bring it away. But Liverpool coming closest, and Alexis McAllister so close to making it 1-0. It was Raya's mistake, and Frimpong does have the ball on the right-hand side then. Giving Liverpool a little bit of confidence in the game. Florian Wirtz with the touch. Back to Florian Wirtz now. Well, it goes back now to Ryan Gravenberch on the right-hand side. Konate will gather. Konate to Virgil van Dijk. And Virgil van Dijk in towards Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai neatly done by Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister knows everything's to his right-hand side, and Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley finds Frimpong. And Frimpong now cutting in field is Frimpong, and it's Jeremy Frimpong who feeds the ball into the area, and he was looking for Cody Gakpo, and it is going to be a corner kick for Liverpool on the left-hand side. Well, earlier on, it was the ball played forward for Frimpong. The ball was a little bit too long, and Raya got a touch on it, and then it was wedged forwards, and so close. It was Conor Bradley initially flicked it towards Frimpong, and the ball came back out and back to Conor Bradley. It was nice enough wedge, but he struck the crossbar and out. It's unlucky, really unlucky Conor Bradley, and Arsenal are lucky that the score is 0-0, because that's the closest either side have come. Arsenal have the ball on the halfway line. Zubimendi goes left-hand side now to Gabriel. Gabriel to the left and centre, rolls it to Leandro Trossard. Leandro Trossard back to Gabriel. Gabriel now to Zubimendi. Martin Zubimendi just outside the centre circle, and now Saliba. Played now to Gabriel to the left of centre. Gabriel does gather, finds Zubimendi once more. The Spaniard now to the Brazilian. Gabriel rolls it down the line looking for Leandro Trossard. And Leandro Trossard tries to beat Frimpong, can't quite beat Frimpong. And Frimpong sees the ball cannon off Trossard, and out of play for a throw in. So Conor Bradley now will take the throw. Conor Bradley will take the throw right by the corner flag. And it is still pouring with rain in North London. Conor Bradley's throw forwards, Declan Rice wins the header, and that's going to be a free kick for Arsenal, and it's a real clumsy one that from Conor Bradley. You've got to know it too. I mean, Arsenal so good from set pieces. It's a crazy moment really. He just very clearly pushed his Trossard, who didn't need much invitation, I don't think, to go down, and as such it will be a free kick now for Arsenal on the left-hand side. Half an hour played. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Declan Rice now will take the free kick. Free kick now for Arsenal. Gives the signal. Gives his left arm. Up does Declan Rice. Floated into the area, but that's catch and practice for Alisson Becker. And Alisson Becker spins it out looking for Milos Kerkez. It's over the head though of Milos Kerkez. It will be thrown for Arsenal on the right-hand side. Their right-hand side. Arsenal have the ball just outside the centre circle with Zubimendi. Really created anything in this first half. There's a clear goal-scoring opportunity and a big save from Alisson Becker of Arsenal. Liverpool have hit the crossbar through Conor Bradley after an error at the back for Arsenal. So Saka has it, immaculate control right-hand side, and he goes down, and Saka now is down in a heap, and Milos Kerkez, I think, might get yellow carded for this. Let's have a look. Well, Kerkez is admitting his mistake, and right studs of Kerkez came down on the boot of Saka. I think he's just about going to escape without a caution here, Milos Kerkez, but it will be a free kick for Arsenal. Free kick in a very good position as well. So free kick now, which Saka has at his feet. Saka goes infield towards Ødegaard. Ødegaard loops the ball up into a half-decent area. Konate wins the header, and Trossard now will take the throw. Trossard to Zubimendi. It is now Martin Ødegaard who has the ball for Arsenal inside his own half. He goes to David Raya. David Raya goes right-hand side now for Saliba. Saliba rolls his studs over the ball and cuts it infield now towards Gabriel. Gabriel to Zubimendi. Zubimendi just checks in field, and here is Zubimendi once more now for Arsenal. Zubimendi goes back to Gabriel. It is now to Saliba. Saliba rolls it right-hand side. And Arsenal very patient in possession. Gathered now by Jurrien Timber. Jurrien Timber zips it in towards Martin Ødegaard. Martin Ødegaard goes back to his goalkeeper, David Raya. And Arsenal are building again from the back. 33 minutes played, 0-0 the score. Liverpool have struck the crossbar. Saka's had a couple of moments. And Jurrien Timber now to Zubimendi, who tried to turn it around the corner for Saka, didn't quite come off, and the ball's just going to dribble out of play for a goal kick for Liverpool. Well, Liverpool coming into this 9 games unbeaten, away from the Emirates with a draw. I think it will go down as a pretty decent result. It will consolidate their position in 4th, although Brentford now chasing them on 33 points, and Newcastle now 6th on 32. Virgil van Dijk smashes it long, and it's out of play now for a throw-in for Liverpool and Milos Kerkez. Milos Kerkez Makalatatu, who's inside the technical area, is gesticulating. I don't think he'll be particularly pleased by what he's seen in the 34 minutes here. His Arsenal side haven't really created too much. Virgil van Dijk for Alex McAllister, and now goes back to Alisson Becker. Konate collects, and Konate just stabs it out of play, and that's going to be a throw-in to Liverpool because it just came off an Arsenal body. Touch now from Florian Wirtz towards Jeremy Frimpong, and Jeremy Frimpong will get there first. And Jeremy Frimpong's inside the area, he goes down. I don't think he's going to get a penalty for that. Certainly Jeremy Frimpong's clutching his left leg and asking the question, and Arsenal are just going to get on with it. And, well, I don't know if he's injured himself here, Frimpong. I'm not sure he's actually asking for a penalty. He might have done something to his ankle as Jurrien Timber stretches the game now for Arsenal on the right-hand side. It's Saka against Kerkez. They'll fancy that one-on-one. It is Bukayo Saka wants to go around the outside, then the inside of Kerkez. Szoboszlai's helping him out. Comes back now to Zubimendi. Zubimendi to Declan Rice. Declan Rice now to Trossard. And Trossard does gather. And Trossard's inside the area. Space to shoot. Trossard's effort. It just about trickles past the upright. And I think that might be a corner. Well, Frimpong's clutching his left boot. I don't really think... Well, I don't think there was much in terms of Frimpong asking for a penalty. But Declan Rice and Virgil van Dijk are having a conversation. And, well, now the referee's having a little chat with both of them. He's having a conversation with Virgil van Dijk. 36 minutes played. Liverpool are 0-0 at the Emirates. I don't think Frimpong is actually looking for a penalty here. I mean, he's inside the area and, well, he twisted his left ankle. And, well, I think Jeremy Frimpong's evening might be over here because he's barely moved. Since this moment. Well, Frimpong is back on his feet, putting some weight on that left ankle. I don't have too many options on the bench, to be honest with you. .37 minutes played. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. It's going to be a corner kick now for Arsenal. On the right-hand side. Frimpong, I think, is going to be okay to continue here. It's going to be Saka to take it left-footed on the right-hand side. Bukayo Saka will take the corner. And Saka now will swing it in. And it comes to Declan Rice right on the edge of the penalty area. He might put it back into the penalty area. It is Declan Rice now for Arsenal. And Declan Rice is inside the area, across the face of goal. It's a really good ball from Declan Rice. Saka's going to keep this one in play as well. And Bukayo Saka has the ball. And now Ødegaard feeds it in field towards Saliba, who rather lobs it up into the area. Van Dijk was there, Szoboszlai too. Touch now from Cody Gakpo, but the touch is heavy. And it is going to be Arsenal to come again. It is now Nketiah has the ball on the left-hand side. Nketiah trying to beat Conor Bradley by the corner flag. And Gravenberch is in there. And it's the throw-in for Arsenal. On the left-hand side. Still 0-0 the score. Still only the one big chance that fell Conor Bradley's way. Saliba collects. Saliba left-hand side now for Gabriel. And then Saliba once more. And it is now Jurrien Timber who does have the ball at his feet. Jurrien Timber to Gabriel. Gabriel on the left-hand side. Feeds it back in field towards Saliba. Saliba to Gabriel. And Gabriel's ball across the face, and now Saka. Saka to Martin Ødegaard. Martin Ødegaard to Saliba. And now here come Arsenal through Gabriel. And Gabriel goes left-hand side and finds Nketiah. Nkapia back infield towards Declan Rice. Declan Rice rolls it infield towards Gabriel. And now Saliba does gather. Saliba rolls his studs over the ball for Arsenal. Saliba goes left-hand side for Gabriel. And then here is Declan Rice. And Declan Rice goes back infield towards Gabriel. Gabriel towards the edge of the area and finds Zubimendi. Zubimendi now to Gabriel. Gabriel to the left of centre, left-footed, just to the edge of the box and finds a run of Trossard. And now here is Trossard once more. Trossard does gather. Trossard feeds it infield, and Arsenal will come once more. And they do come once more now with William Saliba. William Saliba has Saka in support on the right-hand side and finds Saka now against Milos Kerkez. Now it's Jurrien Timber who stayed onside. Jurrien Timber on the right-hand side for Arsenal. And then Saka does gather, and Saka feeds it through beautifully for Timber. And it is Jurrien Timber who manages to pick out the cross, and Gravenberch will get the touch on it. And Gravenberch is beaten by Declan Rice, and Arsenal will come once more. Liverpool, you would say hang on, but certainly very well aware that Arsenal are the side who are dominating. Declan Rice does gather. It is now Gabriel. Gabriel to Saka. And Saka twisting and turning, and Saka wanted to release Timber. And it is now Saka who tries to find a way through, and it's Florian Wirtz who pokes it forward to Dominic Szoboszlai. And the free kick has already been awarded for Liverpool in their left-back slot. And I think they'll take their time over this one as well. Well, Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0 is the score. And Virgil van Dijk to Florian Wirtz. And Florian Wirtz tried to feed it into Dominic Szoboszlai. Didn't quite come off though. And here comes Saka. And Saka now will try and bring the ball away for Arsenal. And eventually it's going to be a goal kick for Liverpool. I think Arne Slot will just be pleased to try to get his men in at half-time. 0-0 really. Virgil van Dijk smashes it long, and it is now Cody Gakpo who is penalised. It's going to be a free kick for Arsenal, and it is now Zubimendi who gathers. Saliba now right on the halfway line for Arsenal. Saliba finds Zubimendi in a pocket of space. Saka first time to Jurrien Timber. Neatly done by Arsenal. Now an opportunity for Gyökeres right hand side. And Gyökeres round the corner for Timber. And Timber hangs up the cross into the penalty area. And is it going to come on the edge of the box? It does. And the effort on goal from Rice is well gathered by Alisson. And just for a moment it looked as though Alisson was scrambling away to his right hand side. And you saw it late that Alisson. Here is Jurrien Timber on the right hand side for Arsenal. Jurrien Timber to Martin Ødegaard. Martin Ødegaard slides. Well, Saka had the ball inside the area, and Kerkez did just about enough, I think. And Mikel Arteta is, even by his own standards, a pretty passionate man on the touchline tonight. He knows the opportunity to go 8 points clear is really, really big. Szoboszlai goes back to Alisson. Finds Szoboszlai again. Dominic Szoboszlai to Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister in towards Florian Wirtz. Wirtz now to Milos Kerkez. Milos Kerkez goes all the way back to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk to Alisson Becker, and Alisson Becker zips it in towards Ryan Gravenberch. Neatly done this by Liverpool, and all of a sudden Ryan Gravenberch finds Jeremy Frimpong right hand side, and Frimpong now does gather, and Frimpong's ball into the penalty area is not a good one, and that's comfortably cleared by Saliba. Bradley wins the header. Alexis McAllister is up there as well, and it's going to be a free kick for Arsenal, I think. 2 additional minutes at the end of the opening 45. Lex McAllister was down, touching his midriff, and his lower back actually. He's still down here, Lex McAllister. With Curtis Jones on the bench. Curtis Jones suggested not 100% fit tonight. Martin Odegaard's back on his feet. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0 to score. And really one strike from Conor Bradley onto the crossbar. A couple of efforts from Declan Rice. And Saka's had a couple of moments as well for Arsenal in very promising positions. And Arsenal do have the ball now on the right-hand side. Final moments really of the first half. Gathered now by Arsenal on that right flank, and Saka will collect. And it's turned around the corner neatly for Timber. Can he keep it in play? He can't. It's going to go out of play now for a goal kick, and that might be that really in terms of the first half. The first half in which Liverpool has certainly frustrated Arsenal. Arsenal dominated possession without really slicing open the Liverpool back line in the manner they would have liked. Alisson now with the goal kick. Played the 2 allocated minutes. And Alisson launches it long, and the half-time whistle does indeed go. And at the Emirates it is. Arsenal 0.
This is a real big challenge for Arsenal tonight.
You see the manager reacting there. Mikel Arteta was getting very angry. There's times where people will say, you know, sitting in around the bench behind it, a lot of media people
tell you
going, he's not great in those situations. He gets a little bit punchy, he does certain things, his manners, not necessarily. He's a fighter and he's desperate for it, isn't he? You can see. But really, is this a situation where he has to go, guys, it's fine. Do you know, if we take a draw today, we're in an all right position. This is not bad. This is Liverpool we're playing against. Do you know,
there's a little bit of desperation.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what his half-time team talk is like. Do you know, I feel that would be a much better message at this situation.
And Steve, just one last thing to say. It's an obvious thing to say, and we've sort of discussed it in the first half as well, but just compare the two benches in terms of trying to have an impact on the game and potential match winners. You have to say that Arsenal bench, Jesus, Eze, Martinelli, Madueke, Marino, that's 5 players, you know, who've had a big impact already this season. I mean, Liverpool, you know, given how the squad is stretched at the moment, have got 2 keepers on there. Chiesa scored a couple of goals this season. Curtis Jones, youngsters Nioni, Ramsey and Ungamoa, who obviously scored that brilliant late winner against Newcastle earlier in the season. But there's not really a comparison there. So you just wonder whether that strength of Arsenal squad might make the difference in the latter stages of this game.
Go get warm, Ali.
Thank you.
Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. We'll keep you right up to date at the Emirates. Coming up next, we'll do Manchester United. We'll do Iraola, Thomas Frank, brilliant Brentford and Panenka fails. All after the news with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
More than 44,000 homes are without power in the southwest of England as Storm Goretti brings wind gusts of up to 100 miles an hour. There have been power cuts on Jersey and the storms brought snow to the Midlands and Wales as well. Chloe Brimicum is a climate scientist at the University of Oxford.
Historically in the UK, streams of heavy rain and high wind speeds are becoming more common with climate change. So this is where we have this combination of so many different extremes occurring at once. But it is very rare in the UK to have this red weather warning. So we've only seen about 4 issued over previous winters in recent years.
Officials in Minnesota say the FBI has blocked them from investigating the fatal shooting of a woman by an immigration officer. Renee Good was shot through her windscreen yesterday. The Vice President J.D. Vance says the officer involved had absolute immunity to do his job. Pub landlords are facing smaller increases to their business rates after the government announced a U-turn on its plans announced in the budget. The Employment Minister Diana Johnson has told 5 Live the sector hadn't felt the benefits of existing reforms, but she denies the Treasury got its sums wrong.
They certainly made money available. I think it was about 4.3 billion to ease the way through this new system that was being set up. But it's absolutely right, isn't it, that when government are presented with information and new information and lobbied from different sectors, in this case the pub sector, that we listen and we engage.
The internet's been switched off across Iran as anti-government demonstrations there continue for a 12th night. Protesters are angry about the country's economic crisis. President Trump says the US will strike the country very hard if the Iranian government kills protesters. And a baby girl who was found abandoned in East London is to be adopted and will have regular contact with her 2 siblings. Elsa was left near a footpath in Newham 2 years ago. DNA tests established she was related to a boy and girl found in similar circumstances in 2017 and 2019.
Hello, welcome to 5 Live Breakfast.
On Breakfast this morning, we heard from the Chief Safety Officer at online platform Roblox about mandatory age estimation checks for UK users.
These systems are constantly being improved. No system is ever 100% perfect.
This is 5 Live Breakfast.
Coming up on 5 Live Breakfast on Friday, we'll look ahead to the 3rd round of the FA Cup and talk about Storm Goretti, due to hit the UK with amber and yellow weather warnings announced by the Met Office.
Wake up with 5 Live Breakfast every morning from 6.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports. The Thursday Night Club with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0 in the Premier League. Half-time, we will keep you right up to date. The Africa Cup of Nations quarter-finals get underway tomorrow. The host Morocco face Cameroon. That's after Senegal against Mali. Then on Saturday, 2 teams who've won all of their games so far, Algeria and Nigeria, face off. Then Mo Salah's Egypt take on the defending champions Ivory Coast. John Bennett is in Rabat. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Steve. Great to speak to you.
I love the Africa Cup of Nations, as you know. Just give us a feeling of what it's like being there and the excitement and the expectation, particularly on the hosts.
Well, I've just arrived, and I'll tell you what, it's the coldest AFCON I've ever been to. It's the first time I've brought a coat, my big coat, to AFCON. Yeah, last time, 2 years ago, Ivory Coast, it was the hottest I've ever been when I arrived for my first game. I think it's the coldest I'm ever going to be at AFCON tomorrow when I see my first game. But yeah, the pressure is huge on Morocco. I was at the press conference today, the head coach Walid Regragui fielding questions from the local journalists. And it's the theme of the tournament, the pressure on this team, the pressure on him. I got a sense of it when I was in Rabat 2 years ago. I did a documentary about Morocco and how well they'd done at the World Cup, the expectations on them, the millions that they've put into football on and off the pitch in this country. And all that means that the fans here, the journalists here, they expect the trophy. They expect Morocco to breeze to the final and win the trophy, but it's not going to be as easy as that. There is some tough competition here. It's probably the best quarter-final lineup I've experienced since I've been covering AFCONs.
Wow. Who do you think have been the most impressive side so far then?
Interestingly, Nigeria, which I'm surprised about. They are a massive nation in African football, as you know. But they came into this tournament after not qualifying for the World Cup. They were knocked out in the playoffs by DR Congo, and I wondered, will there be a hangover? What sort of Nigeria will we get here? But they've won all of their games convincingly. The manager has found a winning formula. He plays Ademola Lookman behind two strikers, one of them being Victor Osimhen, one of the best strikers in world football. And it's really worked. But there are so many stories around Nigeria. There's a bonus row.
No, I don't believe it.
So the players apparently yesterday were threatening not to go to Marrakesh, where their game is taking place on Saturday, not to train. They have travelled to Marrakesh. They have trained today. But there's a report that Wilfred Ndidi, the former Leicester City player, has basically said that if the bonuses that they're owed aren't paid, he will pay it. He will pay the outstanding bonuses for the team just to make sure that they focus on their game on Saturday. A huge game against Algeria. So, yeah, Nigeria have been really impressive, but you just wonder what impact that will have in a couple of days.
Bit of unrest in the Cameroon camp pre-tournament. I was listening to their head coach, who was basically talking about Brian Mbeumo being someone whose leadership has been sort of felt on and off the pitch.
Yeah, Cameroon thrive in chaos. They last won the AFCON back in 2017, and I don't know if you remember, before that tournament, 7 players, including Joel Matip, who played for Liverpool at the time, refused call-ups. They were called up to the squad and they said, no, we're not going. And this time around, they failed to qualify for the World Cup. They sacked a manager. They dropped big players, including Onana, who was dropped, the goalkeeper, former Manchester United goalkeeper. So they've got a new coach going into this tournament. Nobody expected anything from them, but they have been superb. They've got a local coach called David Pagu. I was in his press conference today, really impressive. So they're playing Morocco tomorrow. And you're right, Brian Mbeumo has been a real leader. Pagu said today, the head coach, when he got the job, the first thing he did was pick up the phone to Mbeumo and he said, you're my leader now. You're the responsible one in the dressing room. You have to be my leader. And he says he's been a brilliant leader for them. And a very young team, but impressive. Really fun to watch Cameroon at this tournament.
I can remember being at AFCON depressingly 11 years ago. And one of the managers basically saying to me, paraphrasing, coaches in the Premier League don't have a clue what pressure is like. You're talking about being in these press conferences. Whilst things are going well, it can be a bit of a love-in. As soon as it isn't, I mean, it is fierce what these coaches have to deal with and the questions that they will be asked.
Yeah, it's another level, and it's another level here as well. As I say, it's my first day here. I arrived yesterday, but the press conference was absolutely jam-packed. It was like a press conference for a World Cup final. There were so many people there. And it's probably the most accessible AFCON there's been for years. Easy to travel here, easy to get here. So lots and lots of international journalists. But the press pack from Morocco is fierce. And the fans will get on the back of this team if things don't go well. The players were booed when they drew 1-1 against Mali. The manager who took them to the World Cup semi-final a couple of years ago, his name was booed before their third group game because they thought the team wasn't playing well. So you're right, the pressure is really on. And yeah, I mean, when Thomas Tuchel complains about the English press, he's got nothing on some of the journalists that are here and putting the pressure on the coaches. Yeah, there are some fierce questions in these press conferences.
We're about to move on to Manchester United, so we might as well end with one on Amad Diallo, who scored 3 times for Ivory Coast so far.
Yeah, he's been superb. He's been up there with the players of the tournament. You're thinking about Ademola Lookman, who's been brilliant. Brahim Diaz of Morocco, who's got 4 goals. But Amad Diallo, yeah, he's been sensational in a team of really good attacking players. Yan Diomande is a name being linked with a lot of Premier League clubs. He's a wide player for Ivory Coast. plays in Germany at the moment. They've got Wilfried Zaha, who's struggling to get into the team, but Amad Diallo, every time the Ivory Coast have played, he's been their inspiration. So they've got a fantastic chance, Ivory Coast, of going back-to-back, of winning it 2 years ago and winning it here. And if they do, it will be down to Amad Diallo, who's been superb. Manchester United, I'm sure, will be desperate to get him back in a couple of weeks.
John, just so you know, 90-mile-an-hour winds, and we've been down as far as -3 in the last 48 hours. So maybe don't lay it on too thick with the I'm a little bit chilly at AFCON.
Yeah, 10 degrees. I'm really cold, Steve. I'm struggling.
Behave. Thank you, John. Great stuff.
Thanks, Steve.
John Bennett, who is out in Rabat at the Africa Cup of Nations, which, as we say, has reached the quarter-final stage. Players on their way back out at the Emirates. So we'll keep you right up to date with Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. It's the Thursday night club. We've got Andros Townsend, Stephen Warnock and Michael Brown all with us. Let's talk a bit of Manchester United then. Started life post Ruben Amorim with a 2-2 draw at Burnley last night. Of course, they've got Darren Fletcher in charge for now, and then possibly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer until the end of the season. We will see. Why don't we just start with some positives before we because as soon as you start on Man United, there's kind of no stopping. I thought, Stephen, from a positive perspective, that was not just Benjamin Sesko's best performance, but probably the two best pieces of movement I've seen from him in a Manchester United shirt. Looked like a different player.
Yeah, we did a little bit of sort of work with him last night on the Match of the Day show and looked at what he was good at and what he's bad at. His link-up play is not great when he's got players in and around him. At times in the first half, he was isolated and on his own. I think his awareness of what's around him has to be a little bit better, but he needs players close to him as well. But his movement is superb off the ball, in between centre backs, off the back. He's always looking to see the number of the defender's shirt. Now, when you see the number of a defender's shirt, defender can't see you. He's in trouble. You can make any run that you want to make then, and he's very good at that side of it. My only argument to it all would be, and it's not being disrespectful, it was Burnley. And that's the problem. Now, you've got to do it week in, week out in the Premier League against the best players. And what we've seen is he's not been capable of doing that. But however, with a change of system, with a change of personnel closer to him, I think first half they struggled, but second half he moved Cunha in behind Sesko, got him closer to him. He moved Bruno Fernandes out into the right, and then he had Dogu off the left-hand side. And for me, you'd have to get balls into the box quickly for him. Get the ball out wide and put it in the box.
Yeah. I think, Stephen, that's probably the biggest difference I saw against Burnley than in Amorim's era was the amount of crosses they did get into the box. Dorgu all night was looking to cross the ball. Bruno Fernandes, either from...
Bradley striking the crossbar was the closest that either side have come so far in the game. And as it stands in the Premier League table, should this game finish 0-0, Arsenal will be 6 points clear, 49 points on the board, 6 ahead of Manchester City and Aston Villa. Liverpool would have 35 points and be in 4th. But there is a way to go in this one. You do feel as though the game's going to open up in this second half. So, Arsenal in possession. And they have the ball just outside the centre circle. It is now gathered by Zubimendi. And interestingly, in terms of second half goals this season, Arsenal have scored the most second half goals with 26. Liverpool have got 23. So, according to the stats at least, should be moments in this second half. Alisson Becker has the ball just outside the 6-yard box. I think one issue for Arne Slot and Liverpool really in this second half will be just how do they make it stick up there, because so many times everyone was behind the ball. Here is Cody Gakpo though on the left-hand side now for Liverpool against Saliba. And it is Cody Gakpo has the ball right by the corner flag, and he's looking for a little bit of support now, is the Dutchman. And Cody Gakpo goes back to Florian Wirtz, and it is now gathered by Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk to Ryan Gravenberch. Ryan Gravenberch infield now to Florian Wirtz, to Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister rolls the studs over the ball and looks in front of him and can only find Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk to Cody Gakpo. Now he finds Milos Kerkez on the left-hand side. Back now to Ryan Gravenberch, and Ryan Gravenberch to fellow Dutchman Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk has the ball inside the Arsenal half and finds Ryan Gravenberch. Ryan Gravenberch is looking for options just inside the Arsenal half, finds Florian Wirtz. And here comes Virgil van Dijk as he just scoops the ball out right-hand side to Jeremy Frimpong. Lovely first touch from Jeremy Frimpong, who just glides inside and finds Dominic Szoboszlai. It is now Gravenberch who has the ball to the left of centre. Gravenberch to Milos Kerkez, and Milos Kerkez to Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo into Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz inside the area. Still Florian Wirtz. And still Florian Wirtz goes down. He's not going to get a penalty for that. And David Raya eventually. Well, David Raya does get hold of the ball. And there was just a moment, though, from Florian Wirtz when he collected the ball inside the area. And he tried to zigzag away through. Just couldn't quite get the final touch because Trossard came through. Well, Trossard comes right across and makes contact with Florian Wirtz. I mean, it's not going to be a penalty, I don't think, but it's certainly an interesting one. And, well, no penalty is the final verdict. And so Arsenal have the ball on the right-hand side now with Saliba. Saliba back to Zubimendi. And Zubimendi gathers the ball now for Arsenal deep inside his own half. And Zubimendi to Gabriel. Gabriel stabbing it forwards. Could be a chance now for Nkapie on the left flank. Nkapie is there, but so too is Frimpong. And Frimpong does just feel the contact from Martin Ødegaard. And, well, the ball is out of play now for a goal kick for Liverpool. 49 minutes played. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. And Virgil van Dijk is going to take the goal kick. And he finds Alisson Becker inside his own 6-yard box. Then Alisson Becker tries to hit Cody Gakpo. Going to be a throw for Liverpool on the left-hand side. It is now throw-in which Alexis McAllister does gather. Alexis McAllister short of options really. Tried to roll it into Florian Wirtz, couldn't quite do so. Ryan Gravenberch does collect. Ryan Gravenberch just spins away from 1 and 2. And he's got the option now. Cody Gakpo just outside the area. Cody Gakpo tries to find Milos Kerkez, but he's overcooked it as Cody Gakpo. It's a shame that from Liverpool's perspective because it was neat football down the left flank. And it is Arsenal who come away with the ball. Martin Ødegaard now to Zubimendi. Zubimendi feeds it to his right-hand side and finds Saliba. Saliba to Zubimendi. Zubimendi just has the ball outside the centre circle inside the Arsenal half. And Zubimendi considered flicking it forwards, just then goes to his right-hand side now, and could be a chance for Liverpool to skip away with the ball, but in fact it's out of play for a throw for Arsenal on the right-hand side. And, well, I mean, this would be a decent point for Liverpool, wouldn't it? I think, to extend their unbeaten run to 10 games. Arsenal, they'll be 6 points clear, so both sides will probably see the positives of a draw here, but I do feel as though there's going to be moments in this second half. It is Declan Rice who does gather. Declan Rice has the ball outside the centre circle. Declan Rice goes left-hand side and finds Gabriel, and Gabriel scoops it forwards, and it's a header now from Conor Bradley, and now Ryan Gravenberch skipped past one, and it's going to be a free kick for Liverpool. Alex McAllister wanted to take it quickly, couldn't do so. Liverpool short of options on the bench really. I mean, Curtis Jones apparently is not 100% fit. Rio Gamoa there, Federico Chiesa as well. Konate loops it long looking for Cody Gakpo, but he's got to be a little bit cleverer than that, I think. Saliba does gather now for Arsenal. And Saliba to Raya. Raya to Declan Rice. And Declan Rice brings the ball away for Arsenal. And he has the ball just outside the centre circle. Now Declan Rice slices it left-hand side looking for Saka. Saka against Milos Kerkez. And Kerkez just sees it out. And it is going to be a throw which Milos Kerkez will take on the left-hand side for Liverpool. The rain has subsided somewhat. So a throw in to be taken by Milos Kerkez on the left-hand side for Liverpool. It is going to be Florian Wirtz who keeps it in play. And now Alexis McAllister is there, and all of a sudden Jeremy Frimpong will bring the ball away. And he has it on the left-hand side as Jeremy Frimpong. He's seeking a bit of support here, is Frimpong. And he gathers once again. And still Frimpong has it. Now he finds Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz left-hand side for Liverpool. What can he do, Florian Wirtz? Thought about going inside and does. And finds Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong back to Milos Kerkez. And Kerkez once again. Kerkez to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk has the ball now into midfield and finds Ryan Gravenberch. And Ryan Gravenberch now to Florian Wirtz. Just cannoned off Florian Wirtz though. But back it goes to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk to Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister to Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley to Konate inside the centre circle. And now gathered by Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk feeds it into midfield and finds Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz now back to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk to Ibrahima Konate. Ibrahima Konate to Dominic Szoboszlai. Dominic Szoboszlai to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk to Konate, playing around with the ball right on the halfway line. Konate back to Van Dijk. And Van Dijk sweeps it out left-hand side to find Milos Kerkez. Milos Kerkez goes back to Van Dijk. And Van Dijk to Ryan Gravenberch. And Ryan Gravenberch tries to find Conor Bradley inside the area. It's actually quite a nice idea, but Konate will mop up and goes back to Alisson. And Alisson smashes it long, and that's something now for Cody Gakpo maybe to chase. Ødegaard gets a touch on it though, and then Declan Rice does collect. And forward come Arsenal on the left-hand side, and Trossard tries to go down the line looking for Declan Rice. .54 minutes played. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0 is the score, and Capiet is going to take the throw. It is now Arsenal who do have the ball inside the centre circle. And Arsenal will bring the ball out from the left-hand side. And it is now gathered by Trossard. Trossard just gliding past Conor Bradley. It's going to be Leandro Trossard inside the area. Touch was a little bit heavy in the end from Zubimendi, and it will be a goal kick for Liverpool. But they're working it pretty nicely where Arsenal through Trossard. He just saw the run of Zubimendi, and I think Saka might have wanted the ball just played into his path instead. Zubimendi's touch was a little bit heavy. How the play goes. And it remains Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. Well, Capier's down now. He's clutching his right hamstring. And so Ismail Skelly's going to come on. Ismail Skelly is going to come on, I think, here for Capier. And they've got such a rich array of defensive options to Arsenal, and indeed one or two suggesting that he'll also be in for Mark Gay. So Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0 is the score. And Nkapie is going to come off here, and Miles Lewis-Skelly is going to be the man who comes on in his place. 56 minutes played, 0-0 the score. And Virgil van Dijk scoops it right-hand side to Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley to Dominic Szoboszlai, who tries to ask a little bit of Jeremy Frimpong, who's going through the gears, and Frimpong very nearly got there as well. And it will be a throw-in for Liverpool on the right-hand side because Saliba got a touch in there. Florian Wirtz thought about taking the throw himself. Instead, he's going to leave it to Conor Bradley. And it is now Conor Bradley who has the throw for Liverpool. He goes back to Florian Wirtz. And Florian Wirtz finds Ibrahima Konate. Ibrahima Konate to Virgil van Dijk. And Virgil van Dijk to Milos Kerkez. And Milos Kerkez goes back to Alisson Becker. Alisson Becker finds Konate. Konate deep inside his own half to Ryan Gravenberch. And Ryan Gravenberch to Florian Wirtz. And now Szoboszlai. And that's really neat and tidy from Liverpool. And Szoboszlai will just open it up now and finds Virgil van Dijk left-hand side. Virgil van Dijk spins it to Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo cutting in field. And he finds Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister to Conor Bradley. And Conor Bradley to Jeremy Frimpong, 1-on-1 against Miles Lewis-Skelly. And Frimpong, we know he's got that little explosive yard of pace. And he goes around the outside as Jeremy Frimpong. The cross again, though, isn't a good one. That's been his issue all game, Jeremy Frimpong. He's got in some half-decent positions, but the final ball hasn't quite been forthcoming. Difficult, though, for Frimpong because there's no one really to hit inside the area for Liverpool. All hope and expectation when he puts the ball into the box. Here is Dominic Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai has the ball. And he finds Alexis McAllister. Now Konate on the halfway line for Liverpool. To the left of centre is Virgil van Dijk. Alexis McAllister now gathers. Alexis McAllister 45 yards from goal. Everything to his right-hand side. And he does indeed find Jeremy Frimpong. Jeremy Frimpong slides it in field towards Dominic Szoboszlai. Dominic Szoboszlai fizzes it to Virgil van Dijk. And Virgil van Dijk then to Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister now to Dominic Szoboszlai. Dominic Szoboszlai right-hand side to Conor Bradley. And Conor Bradley now to Dominic Szoboszlai. He goes infield looking for Konate. And Konate then to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk to Cody Gakpo on the left flank. Cody Gakpo now to Florian Wirtz. What can he create? Finds the Argentine Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister in towards Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk switches it now to Cody Gakpo. And he goes back to David Raya, who smashes it away. It's gathered now by Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister goes to the left-hand side and finds Milos Kerkez. Milos Kerkez to Cody Gakpo. Now Ryan Gravenberch. Ryan Gravenberch to the left-hand side. And he finds Cody Gakpo. Now Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk feeds it to Konate 5 yards to his right-hand side. And it is now Ryan Gravenberch who collects. And Ryan Gravenberch into Florian Wirtz. And Florian Wirtz back to Ryan Gravenberch. And then Ibrahima Konate. An hour played, 0-0 the score. Alexis McAllister, that's neat and tidy. Here is Alexis McAllister for Liverpool. Tried to find Dominic Szoboszlai, couldn't. Was one aside a free kick. And it's a free kick in an interesting position from a Liverpool perspective. Because it's more or less the same kind of range out from where Dominic Szoboszlai scored at Anfield in the game between the pair. So Dominic Szoboszlai will indeed be standing over this set piece. Well, Florian Wirtz is also there. Well, I mean, what he did at Anfield was something really special, Dominic Szoboszlai. Surely we're not going to see something similar here, are we? Look at these kind of conditions. The rain has subsided, but the surface is still very moist. Look at the test, David Raya. So 61 minutes play. Szoboszlai's going to take this free kick bang central for Liverpool. It's got to be 35 yards at least out. It is Dominic Szoboszlai who will hit it. And Szoboszlai does indeed hit it and smashes it clean over the crossbar. And there's a little grimace on the face of the Hungarian because that was nowhere near the strike that he had at Anfield. Arsenal then have the ball at the back. And they're building the ball out from the back as well. And it is Frimpong who regathers possession, and Conor Bradley now collects. And Conor Bradley back to Konate. Konate to Alisson Becker. And Alisson Becker to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk goes high looking for Florian Wirtz. Alexis McAllister's underneath it. Will be Gravenberch with the touch. And now it's Cody Gakpo who tries to find Jeremy Frimpong, and he will find Jeremy Frimpong right hand side. So it is Frimpong now for Liverpool. Frimpong's ball in is a poor one. Szoboszlai though will gather. And Szoboszlai has the ball 25 yards from goal. And he's going to his left-hand side and finds Gravenberch. Now Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz in a tight space to Alexis McAllister. It's Dominic Szoboszlai who hits it. And eventually Arsenal will bring the ball away. Konate with the touch though. Milos Kerkez gathers. Virgil van Dijk now in towards Ryan Gravenberch. And he finds Milos Kerkez. Milos Kerkez to Gravenberch. And Gravenberch in towards Cody Gakpo, back towards Konate. And Konate inside the centre circle for Liverpool. And he considered going to his left-hand side, goes to Conor Bradley on his right-hand side instead. Jeremy Frimpong is there, and Frimpong pokes it down the line for Conor Bradley. It's neatly done. It's going to be Conor Bradley now who tried to get the cross into the penalty area, but never quite got hold of it, did he? And that is really careless from Cody Gakpo. And so it will be a free kick for Arsenal on the left-hand side. And I think Mikel Arteta has responded to the last 10 minutes where Liverpool have had far more of the ball. And it is going to be a double substitution here. So Trossard is going to come off. And so too is Victor Gyökeres. Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus are the two players who are indeed on. Well, there's lots shorter of options really, isn't it? Possibly throw Curtis Jones on for Alexis McAllister would be an option, I think. Arsenal have the ball with Gabriel Jesus left-hand side now. It's Jesus against a couple of Liverpool defenders. Konate brings it away, and Gravenberch now collects, and Gravenberch has the ball on the right-hand side, and Ryan Gravenberch just gathers and beats his man with ease on the right-hand side. It is now an opportunity for Jeremy Frimpong, and all of a sudden Frimpong's got the legs, and he's inside the penalty area. It's Frimpong with a cut back, and he couldn't find Florian Wirtz. And Jeremy Frimpong was in a wonderful position inside the penalty area, and he's got to do far better. Well, I think Jeremy Frimpong's got to go for goal himself there. He had the ball on the right-hand side, and he was driving into the penalty area, and he just put it behind Florian Wirtz. And it's a poor ball in the end from Frimpong. And his pace has been an outlet, there's no question about that for Liverpool on the right-hand side. But Milos Kerkez gathers. Milos Kerkez to Virgil van Dijk. Now Konate. Konate to Dominic Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai to Gravenberch, who loses out in a dangerous position. Declan Rice goes backwards. The home fans didn't like that. It is now Saliba. And Ødegaard now collects. And Martin Ødegaard inside the centre circle. And Martin Ødegaard now scoops it forwards looking for Martinelli, but is collected by Alisson Becker. Martinelli's down to tangle with Frimpong. There's a VAR check taking place. And Gabriel Jesus has just clattered into the back of Ryan Gravenberch. Gravenberch then into Florian Wirtz. Virgil van Dijk goes left-hand side, and Martinelli has the ball now. It is Kerkez left-hand side now for Liverpool, and it's going to be Arsenal who bring the ball out from the back. and it comes now to Florian Wirtz, and Florian Wirtz pokes it forwards now for Cody Gakpo, and Cody Gakpo, well, the referee has stopped the game now because Saka's down. Martinelli's back up on his feet. Well, the contact between Frimpong and Martinelli was outside the area. Martinelli went down. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0 remains to score. Liverpool have played well in the second half. And Mikel Arteta is clearly frustrated by what he's seen in this game. I think when he looked at the starting lineups, he would have expected his side to really dominate and create numerous chances, and haven't really been able to. In fact, Liverpool in the second half have had a really good 15-20 minute spell, and that opportunity for Jeremy Frimpong, I think, on the right hand side will go down as a big chance. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0. It will be a drop ball here. And a drop ball which Florian Wirtz, I think, wants uncontested because the game stopped. Well, the referee stopped the game because game stopped because Saka had the ball flush in his face. Well, Kerkez does gather now, collected by Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk to Konate. Konate goes right hand side and finds Jeremy Frimpong, and Frimpong has the ball on the right hand side. He goes back to Conor Bradley. He in turn finds Ibrahima Konate. Konate coaching the halfway line. Konate in towards Alexis McAllister. And now Konate once more. Into Alexis McAllister once more. And Conor Bradley does gather. And Conor Bradley, right hand side for Frimpong. He goes back to Conor Bradley. Alexis McAllister now in towards Dominic Szoboszlai. And Dominic Szoboszlai back towards Bradley. And does go now to Ibrahima Konate. Konate in towards Bradley, and here is Dominic Szoboszlai, who feeds it out left-hand side for Virgil van Dijk. And Virgil van Dijk just manages to sweep it right-footed to the right-hand side and finds Jeremy Frimpong. And now Conor Bradley feeds it infield towards Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister past one. Alexis McAllister now to Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz to Dominic Szoboszlai. To Wirtz, to Szoboszlai. All of this to the right of centre, around about 40 yards from goal. It is now Jeremy Frimpong who finds Wirtz. Conor Bradley back to Florian Wirtz. And Liverpool with a bit of keep ball at the Emirates. Szoboszlai to Ibrahima Konate. Konate to Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley evades one challenge and finds Konate once more. It is Ibrahima Konate who goes to Alexis McAllister and then finds Conor Bradley, and that's a late challenge, I think, from Bradley, but Declan Rice did well to stay on his feet. And Raya now smashes it long. Won by Milos Kerkez, though, and it is going to be Declan Rice, is it, to get there? No, because Conor Bradley does. And Cody Gakpo then wins the free kick. And Alexis McAllister to Ryan Gravenberch, and Ryan Gravenberch to the right hand side and finds Jeremy Frimpong. Well, second half, Liverpool have got 75% possession, absolutely dominated the game, really. in the second half without finding a goal. Milos Kerkez can't keep the ball in play, so it will be a throw-in for Arsenal on the right-hand side. And in towards Saka. Saka has the ball and feeds it back in field for Arsenal. And then Zubimendi does gather. Zubimendi, just outside the centre circle, finds Gabriel. Gabriel then to Martinelli. Gabriel Martinelli with the ball in. Konate is there. Wirtz with the touch to Ryan Gravenberch, but so too Declan Rice was in close proximity. And it is Yuri and Timber who goes right-hand side looking for Saka. Saka against Kerkez and Gakpo. Saka goes round the outside, and Kerkez does really well inside the area. And Wirtz saw the ball go beyond him, though, and Ødegaard tries to flick it into the box. It might be Gravenberch now with the header. And it is Dominic Szoboszlai who tries to get a touch on it, but it's beautifully done by Gabriel Martinelli. And Martinelli on the left-hand side now for Arsenal, but his touch is a little bit heavy and it goes out of play for a goal kick, which Alisson Becker will take. Well, Mikel Arteta on the touchline, clapping his hands, clearly wants a little bit more from his side. You can understand why. Arne Slot is also in conversation with his technical area. Still no sign of a substitution from Arne Slot's men. I mean, he obviously feels like that's the best 11 he's got out there, really. Limited opportunities, limited options, really, on the bench. So Declan Rice keeps it moving right-hand side. And now it is going to be Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz does gather and finds Dominic Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai now for Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong has it right-hand side, and he finds Szoboszlai once more. Dominic Szoboszlai back to Konate. And Konate now to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk once again right on the halfway line. Virgil van Dijk in towards Lexi McAllister. And now Dominic Szoboszlai. Dominic Szoboszlai to Florian Wirtz. Round the corner for Conor Bradley. To Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong on the right flank finds Wirtz. And Wirtz now to Szoboszlai. And back to Florian Wirtz. And Florian Wirtz keeps it moving for Ibrahima Konate. Konate then to Florian Wirtz, who gives the ball away. Well, very nearly gave it away. Lexi McAllister retrieves. Finds Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong right-hand side for Liverpool. Dutchman doesn't have too much in the way of options. Goes back in field to the Argentine Alexis McAllister. He in turn finds Konate. And Konate finds Virgil van Dijk. And Virgil van Dijk to Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo to Virgil van Dijk. And now Ibrahima Konate does gather. Konate then to Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley to Frimpong. Frimpong on the right flank, just about emerges with the ball, just Jeremy Frimpong, and his cross into the penalty area is not a bad one. Drops now to Dominic Szoboszlai, whose effort fades over the crossbar. Never really set himself well, did Dominic Szoboszlai, but once again just the pace and the trickery of Jeremy Frimpong causing an issue. And this time the ball was better, and Szoboszlai can only smash it over the crossbar. Raya has the ball inside his own penalty area. There's a bit of pressure on the ball now. And Raya finds Gabriel. And Jeremy Frimpong applying the pressure. But it is going to be Arsenal to bring the ball away. Well, in fact, Alexis McAllister's regathered. Alexis McAllister has the ball now for Liverpool. Alexis McAllister to Dominic Szoboszlai. And Dominic Szoboszlai has another effort on goal. This one comes back to Gravenberch. And Gravenberch now back to Konate. Konate to Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley to Jeremy Frimpong. And Ryan Gravenberch does collect. And Ryan Gravenberch to Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk to Milos Kerkez. And Milos Kerkez to Cody Gakpo. And Cody Gakpo cuts back in field. Now Florian Wirtz glides past one. And Florian Wirtz finds Cody Gakpo, and Cody Gakpo now to Ryan Gravenberch, and he finds Conor Bradley, and Conor Bradley to Frimpong. And Frimpong thought about the ball back to Conor Bradley. Instead, There's the little 1-2 with Conor Bradley. Does dig the cross into the penalty area. Conor Bradley is there, and he tries to feed it forwards. Just Conor Bradley, it's a poor one. It's going to be a goal kick, Arsenal. Well, it's going to be another double substitution here for Arsenal. And Eza and Madueke are the two players who are going to come on. And Saka is one of the two being replaced. I don't think Saka's particularly pleased. Muttering one or two things as Ødegaard also comes off. Such a big squad Mikel Arteta has, of course. The big challenge he's got is to keep everyone happy at the football club. So Arsenal made 4 substitutions. Liverpool haven't made a substitution, which is pretty unusual really in the Premier League at the 77-minute mark. A lot of that is Arne Slot's hand being forced, but nonetheless. So Eza and Madueke are on. Saka and Ødegaard are the players off. Raya smashes the ball over halfway, and back it goes now to Saliba. Saliba has the ball, he finds Martin Zubimendi. Zubimendi has the ball now for Arsenal, he finds Declan Rice. As it stands, Arsenal going 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. And it is now Arsenal who still have the ball at the back. And Zubimendi, the man from the Basque region. He could have joined Real Madrid, could have joined Liverpool, wanted to be part of this project here at Arsenal. Arsenal have the ball inside their own half. Not for anything in the second half, really, Arsenal, have they? Gabriel rolls his studs over the ball and feeds it back in field. And Gabriel to Zubimendi has dropped really deep in between the two centre-backs for Arsenal. And Zubimendi now smashes it long. It's a good ball as well. And it could be a chance now for Madueke. And Madueke is inside the penalty area. Madueke across the face of goal. No one was there to touch it home. And Frimpong will pick up the pieces. And Frimpong tries to find Szoboszlai, but he's overcooked the ball. And it will be a throw-in for Liverpool on the right-hand side. But Madueke did really well. I mean, it's a lovely ball from Zubimendi. Milos Kerkez was playing him onside, and Madueke smashed the ball across the face of goal. It's a really good ball actually from Madueke. It was initially Zubimendi to Timber and then Madueke, but on the outside of Milos Kerkez. Conor Bradley switches the play to Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo gives it away though, but Florian Wirtz will pick up the pieces. Florian Wirtz now for Liverpool. And here is Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo in field to Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz to Virgil van Dijk. And now Konate. Konate into Dominic Szoboszlai. Gravenberch tried to ride the challenge, couldn't quite do so. And Gravenberch was there. And is that going to be a free kick for Liverpool? It is. And once again, I mean, it's a fair old distance out. But I fancy Dominic Szoboszlai to take it on. I mean, in a low incident game where there haven't been too many big chances, this will certainly go down as something I think Dominic Szoboszlai is going to take it on. So Szoboszlai, I mean, again, he's 35 yards from goal. And we saw him take one earlier on where he smashed the ball over the crossbar. And Dominic Szoboszlai now is going to take this free kick. Dominic Szoboszlai, 81 minutes on the clock. 0-0 the score. Szoboszlai just to the right of centre, 35 yards from goal. Szoboszlai strikes it. This one was a little bit closer, but still never troubling the goalkeeper. And game remains 0-0. Still Liverpool yet to make a substitution. Still we have the starting 11 out there on the pitch. As Raya goes to Saliba right-hand side. Raya has the ball at the edge of the penalty area. Sense of frustration around the Emirates, a frustration about what Arsenal have done in this second half, I think. Dominic Szoboszlai will pick up the pieces now for Liverpool. And Szoboszlai gets past one. And, well, surely that was a free kick for Liverpool. Referee has allowed play to continue. And Gabriel Jesus is coming forward now for Arsenal. Kanate is there. And I don't think Szoboszlai's going to be happy about that because he felt sure he should have had a free kick. And now Frimpong goes down. And so too does Dominic Szoboszlai. And it's going to be a free kick for Liverpool deep inside their own half. Well, the referee's got a yellow card out here. Well, it's for Mikel Arteta, and that is for leaving his technical area. And I mean, I think Mikel Arteta's made a recent career out of being outside his technical area in that manner. And he is yellow carded. He's playing with fire here, Arteta, because he's right on the edge of his technical area once again. It is going to be Kanate who smashes it long. And it is now Gravenberch who heads it forwards. Virgil van Dijk to Kanate, and it's going to drop now for Conor Bradley. Doesn't have much on Conor Bradley, and so he just wedges the ball forward looking for Florian Wirtz, and Florian Wirtz is penalised, and he can't believe it because Florian Wirtz had scampered away. Ball was moving, so the free kick's got to be taken again, much to the frustration of the home crowd. It is Gabriel who finds Saliba. 84 minutes played at the Emirates. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0 is the score. And Arsenal have the ball now with Gabriel. It is a nice turn though from Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly feeds it to Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli's ball across the face. It's going to go beyond everyone. And the ball's out of play anyway, I think, because the flag is up on the far side. Martinelli might have been offside actually. In any case, the yellow card is also shown by Anthony Taylor to someone else. Yeah, it's a yellow card for a member of the Liverpool coaching staff. And Anthony Taylor now is happy for the free kick to be taken. 85 minutes played. Alisson smashes it long. Looking for Cody Gakpo, wanted a free kick, he's not going to get it. Arsenal have the ball outside the centre circle. And it is now who have given the ball away through Declan Rice. Arsenal haven't a shot in the second half. Milos Kerkez will take the throw just to the shy of the halfway line in the left back slot for Liverpool. Milos Kerkez will take it. Milos Kerkez hoists it long, looking for Cody Gakpo. It's going to be Alexis McAllister who gets a touch on it. Alexis McAllister now left-hand side for Liverpool. I'll try and throw in for his side here because there's no one with Alexis McAllister. It will be Urian Timber who goes down, and it's going to be a goal kick for Arsenal. Still no substitution, Samani slot. Go way back for a Premier League side not to introduce any substitutes since the 5 substitutes change. Virgil van Dijk wins the header and finds Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo now goes down under the challenge of Timber. And Timber helps Cody Gakpo back onto his feet as the rain continues to come down in North London. Milos Kerkez is going to take the free kick, but in fact it's going to be Virgil van Dijk to take it right on the halfway line. And Virgil van Dijk to Konate. Konate zips it to Frimpong. Frimpong back in field to Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley goes all the way back to Alisson Becker. And Alisson Becker smashes it long and finds Cody Gakpo. And Florian Wirtz tried to get on the end of it, couldn't quite do so. And Florian Wirtz is trying to win the ball back for Liverpool. He can't do so though. And here come Arsenal, and Virgil van Dijk wins the challenge really well. Alexis McAllister rolls it to Ryan Gravenberch. Ryan Gravenberch now to Dominic Szoboszlai. And Dominic Szoboszlai thought about playing it to Frimpong, chose not to at the end. Just slows the pace of the attack down. And Alexis McAllister collects. McAllister to Bradley. Bradley to Konate. Konate to Virgil van Dijk. Milos Kerkez then left-hand side. Milos Kerkez down the line to Cody Gakpo. And now Milos Kerkez will scamper away with it on that left flank. And it is Milos Kerkez who has it for Liverpool. And Milos Kerkez back in field to Gravenberch. Gravenberch to Virgil van Dijk. And Liverpool just dominating possession as they have done throughout the entirety of the second half. Ryan Gravenberch collects. And Ryan Gravenberch to Cody Gakpo. And now Virgil van Dijk. And Virgil van Dijk scoops it forwards. That's really poor from Virgil van Dijk. It's going to be a goal kick for Arsenal. Well, there have been moments in the second half. A couple of pop shots from Dominic Szoboszlai. Madueke's ball across the face. Probably the best moment of the second half fell for Jeremy Frimpong inside the area when he couldn't pick out Florian Wirtz. And Arsenal come away with it. It's going to be a throw-in for Arsenal on the left-hand side. What Skelly's going to take. And Lewis Skelly will take the throw on that left flank. He feeds it in towards Eze, and Alexis McAllister's going to get penalised. He might get a yellow card as well, Alexis McAllister. Indeed he does. Argentine goes into the notebook. So, third yellow card of the season for Alexis McAllister. Declan Rice now has the ball outside the centre circle. Finds Gabriel. Gabriel now to Martinelli. And Martinelli has the ball on the left-hand side and finds Gabriel. Gabriel feeds it now to Eze. And Eze to the right of centre goes right-hand side and finds Madueke. And Madueke against Milos Kerkez, and Madueke trying to find a dance away past Milos Kerkez. It is now Saliba who collects, and Saliba to Madueke. It's going to be 4 added on minutes at the end of the 90. Madueke against Milos Kerkez. Madueke back in field towards Saliba, who's got a bit of time and space to pick out his cross, and does, and there's the header, but it's safely into the arms of Alisson Becker. And it's hurled out straight away, looking for the run of Jeremy Frimpong. And Arsenal with the ball straight back, and I'm not sure Liverpool wanted Alisson Becker to hurl it out in the manner in which he did. It is now Lewis Skelly who finds Martinelli. And Martinelli now against Conor Bradley. And Martinelli goes on the outside. It is Martinelli for Arsenal. Rain lashing down. Martinelli's inside the area. Martinelli's effort. And Alisson gathers. And Alisson stays down with this one. I think Liverpool, they would have taken 0-0 before the game started. And we'll certainly take 0-0 now. Well, it is David Raya who has the ball now. Saliba. We played one of the additional 4 minutes. There's still certainly time for one of these two sides to pinch it. And at the moment it looks more like Arsenal because they've had a better spell the last 5 minutes or so. Here's Gabriel. It is Gabriel now for Arsenal, and he finds Martinelli. And Martinelli against Frimpong. And there's the ball in from Martinelli, but comes off Frimpong, and now against Szoboszlai. And Gabriel Martinelli looking for a yard of space on that left flank. And Martinelli infield towards Gabriel Jesus, but the free kick goes against Gabriel Jesus, who can't believe it. And so it will be a free kick for Liverpool inside their own penalty area. And as it stands in the Premier League, Arsenal will be going back 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. Liverpool being 4th on 35 points. And they home against Barnsley in the FA Cup next, then home against Burnley before travelling to Marseille in the Champions League. It's gone very thick and fast, don't they, this time of year? Of course they do. It is scooped away towards the halfway line. And Conor Bradley is going to put the ball out of play. And Conor Bradley's done something to his left knee here. And, well, Conor Bradley's gone down, clutching his left knee. And Martinelli now picking a fight with 1 or 2, and Gabriel Martinelli is going to get yellow carded because he pushed Conor Bradley off the pitch. Well, Gabriel Martinelli pushed Conor Bradley off the pitch, and Conor Bradley was clearly injured, and he's going to need a stretcher here. So we play 3 of the allocated 4 minutes. Gabriel Jesus and Konate having a chat. Ibrahim Konate has got another yellow card. And 0-0 remains the score in the final few seconds of this one. And Conor Bradley's left leg just completely went his left knee, I think, under the weight. And then Martinelli threw the ball against Conor Bradley. And then pushed Conor Bradley off the pitch. And, well, it's all a little bit ugly, this, from Gabriel Martinelli. Well, I think it might be the left ankle that he's done, Conor Bradley. And, well, final few seconds of the game here at the Emirates. 0-0 the score. Well, Conor Bradley has got his hands over his head. Joe Gomez is now on. So, final few seconds of the game, and Lewis Skelly with the throw. And Lewis Skelly now to Gabriel. And Gabriel to Saliba. And Saliba gets the ball and finds Gabriel. And Gabriel then just floats it towards the edge of the penalty area. Konate will win the header. And Konate is there, and Frimpong collects 2. And Mikel Arteta is there to play ball boy. It is now Gabriel. And Gabriel collects now and feeds it right hand side for Zubimendi. And Zubimendi feeds it infield towards Gabriel, and then Gabriel to Saliba, and Saliba finds Jurrien Timber, and all of a sudden Arsenal now might have an opportunity on the right flank. And it is now Gabriel, and now Madueke right hand side, and it is Madueke trying to find a way through, and Arsenal won a corner, and we know how good they are from set pieces. Well, Madueke is going to take the corner. Played 6 of the allocated 4 minutes. And wouldn't it just be like Arsenal to pinch one here? It is Madueke who takes the corner kick, left-footed into the penalty area, but beyond everyone it's going to be a goal kick, and the game's going to finish 0-0. Gabriel was there, and the full-time whistle does indeed go. It is Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0, and, well, a game where there were few and far chances, really. The closest that either side came was when Conor Bradley struck the crossbar. Arsenal will say Although going 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League table, Liverpool staying fourth. Pretty uneventful game in the end of the Emirates. Finishes Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0.
Is going to be okay. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 0.
By the way, he should score, Stephen.
He should. He misses it. It hits him in the chest, I think.
Yeah.
It's that's a big opportunity. He does really well to sort of get out the pack. He loses Szoboszlai, and then he it's a poor header. That's a big opportunity.
It's huge, isn't it? And one person, you're looking at the back post, and you're going, where is he? Arriving right on cue. The technical area.
There's no one anywhere near him.
Set piece coach, go to the knees, going, how has he not? Is it one of those moments where you see it, and it's the last second he just tries to
Get
a
too
little
much
bit
on
too
it.
hard rather than just waiting for it to drop on, hits him sort of mid-drift. That's a massive chance gone right at the end.
I was going to say something really cynical, and I'm not going to.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You've still got time?
Nope.
We've got about 4 minutes left? No?
I'm quite happy about the set piece coach. I'm glad they didn't score. He drives me mad.
It was quite...
Get back on your seat and sit down. You've done your work on the training ground. It's just so infuriating.
I don't know if you saw, Ali, but it was quite an emotional reaction from Arsenal's set-piece coach.
Yes, I've just seen that on the replay. I sort of had that in the corner of my eye. I was trying to work out exactly where Gabriel had made the contact with the ball and then where it had gone. Our commentary position, our lower commentary position here, everyone stands up when Arsenal have a chance at that end. So you're sort of straining to try and get a view there. But looking at it on the replay, that is a great chance and exactly the person you want it to fall to at the end of the game, and that, the kind of ones that he's been sticking away, not only this season but the last few seasons. But still, as I say, 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Another tough game ticked off, 17 games to go, and Arsenal have come through that run of 4 games in 2 weeks with 3 wins and a draw against Liverpool. So I don't think they'll be too dissatisfied with that.
Nicolas Javert, isn't it, is the Arsenal set-piece coach. I mean, you say Gabriel is the one you would want it to fall to, and I would agree, but actually when the ball went out for a corner, Michael, you started doing the Gyökeres goal celebration in the studio, which was unexpected.
Well, I was just looking, I was thinking, surely not. I put my hands over my eyes, looking through, going, Steve, this is it. I said there could be a late drama. But Ali,
he had been subbed off by that
Ali,
point.
when we talked about the 0-0, that was in the writing, wasn't it? I'm sure Mr. Southall's going to be sending a few messages out to you saying, you've brought us no drama tonight. But there was late drama, wasn't there? He had to score there. What a big opportunity. But the title race, is it back on now? Is it?
Well, nobody ever said it was on, did they?
Well, we were all saying if they'd won it, was it off?
Well, 6 points.
That's what we were saying, 8.
I mean, you go back. I know this is a completely different Arsenal squad, but 3 seasons ago, so Arsenal finished second for the last 3 seasons. 3 seasons ago, the first time they sort of had a proper tilt at it against Manchester City, I remember them being 8 points clear, like they could have gone tonight with fewer games left. City did have a game in hand and they still had to play City. I think they only won 3 of their last 9, Arsenal. This is a different Arsenal squad. The next time it happened, the next season, Arsenal won 16 of their last 18 games, but Manchester City basically matched them. Arsenal lost that game against Villa, and then City won their last 6 to win the title. And then Arsenal obviously couldn't live with Liverpool last season. I think they've got the squad strength this season to go closer, and I would still say they're my favourites to go on and win it.
And Andros, that's the difference between that Arsenal team and this Arsenal team, is that Arsenal team lost Saliba, wasn't it? I think it was Saliba, not Gabriel.
Yeah, Saliba,
in a crucial part of the season, and they couldn't cope without him. This Arsenal team can.
They can, and I think Arsenal have absolutely everything now. The only question mark is, can they get over the line? Do they have the mental scars? Like Ali said, do they have the mental scars over 3 years ago or 2 years ago, where if that's true, they won 16 of the last 18 games and still lost a title? They'll be playing on their mind. They'll be thinking that they have to be perfect to be able to win the league over this Man City side that Pep has created. So I still have that question mark over that mentality of being able to get over the line with Man City chasing them.
Let's finish back on Liverpool then. In the Premier League table, they are 4th, 35 points after the draw tonight. Arsenal, Villa above them on 43. City also have 43, and then Arsenal have 49. Positive performance, Stephen, but then This is a Liverpool team who've beaten Newcastle, Villa, Arsenal earlier in the season, Real Madrid. We've seen them look okay in these kind of games. So yes, if you're a Liverpool fan, you want this to be a building block or you want it to be a turning point. But does anything you've seen tonight make you think, oh, well, they're going to blow Burnley away in their next game there? Because those are the kind of games they can't handle.
Yeah, I thought they were superb tonight. I thought to a man, everyone played well and contributed to the performance of the team. I think they stood the ground in the first half. We talked about the tactics of how they played. They sat behind the ball, sat deep. Second half, it's almost like Arne Slot saw a few things that he wanted to tweak, and he gave the team the license to go and do that. The one thing he'd say is, I was just looking at the teams then, and the changes. There was only Conor Bradley changed, and that was only through injury. So it tells you where his squad is at the moment, that he doesn't perhaps really want to make too many changes off the bench. Doesn't feel like he's got the players to be able to do that. I think the only player that you would have probably brought on in that game would have been Curtis Jones into that midfield area. Perhaps Ngamoa at some point, just to stretch them, but you wouldn't want a youngster to make a mistake or lose the ball in a certain area in a game of that magnitude. But I thought from Liverpool's point of view, that was arguably one of the best performances I've seen from them.
It was solid, wasn't it? It was an away performance with grit, determination. They didn't have the ball really in the first half. I think what impressed the second half, much more control, much more ball retention, movement to ground, growing in confidence, and in the wider areas being able to run in behind wherever possible. And it's something to go at. I think you look at the next run of the fixtures now in the league. I think they've got a nice, decent run where you feel like they can get some momentum, gain a bit more confidence, and let's see if they can get some players back. They've been hurt as well with that. But I think, overall, I think it'll be a decent point, not to get carried away. But at the start of the game, when you look and say, well, what Liverpool sort of type of team or setup we're going to find, and is it allowed to go and do that in this game? Well, he's answered the question, hasn't he?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? When you ask that question, I go back to the question of, does this suit Liverpool's style? There's a very apparent problem at Liverpool is when they do dominate the ball against the teams that sit low, is that counter-attack that they struggle with. If they fix that side of the game and control that side of it better, that'll be so important.